Tonight's show is a little different. Tonight's show is about a man who's not really a man. He's a doctor, but he's not really a doctor. Like Dr. Phil, but awesome. Most people in the United States of America have not heard of him. He's just like me in that regard. Who is he? He's the Doctor.
The BBC premiered a show about an alien who traveled through space and time to combat powers of evil.
He was a force for good in an otherwise uncertain universe.
You are correct in your summation of his character, my profane rabbit friend.
Ooh, tell me more.
The show has been running in Britain almost 50 years, with many different actors in the role of the Doctor.
The Doctor doesn't die, he just regenerates.
The crocodile alligator speaks the truth. One thing is consistent though, and this is why the show is so beloved by geeks and nerds. It's all about the triumph of intellect and romance over brute force and cynicism. Intellect and romance over brute force and cynicism.
And if there is any hope for any of us in this giant explosion in which we inhabit, then surely that's it. Intellect and romance triumph over brute force and cynicism. Right, Doctor?
Absolutely.
Do I look excited to you? If so, how can you see me? But I am, because today we've got a very special episode of the Pupcast for you. Today we're talking all about Doctor Who. The series just wrapped up its midway season finale thing that shows like to do these days. I don't know, halfway finale? I don't know if there's an actual term for it. Anyway, it just wrapped up a milestone of an episode. So, I've gathered together the biggest Doctor Who fans that I know, by which I mean the only Doctor Who fans I know, to come on board and talk about the show, its history, its current incarnation, and I think it's worth a listen because Doctor Who has always been one of those things that so many people out there have been aware of, but not really known anything about. Like, the show is nearly 50 years old, and because of that, it's become such an iconic figure in geek history. So many people know of it, but there is really no good introduction to it unless you happen to catch when the series was rebooted a couple of years ago. But in case you didn't, that's what we're here for this time. So we're going to sit down and kind of try to give you guys something of an introduction to the series. But before we begin that, this is the part of the show where I just kind of update you guys on what's been going on. This episode, as always, is coming to you a little bit late. This time, it was for two reasons. One, I had to go to Comic-Con, which is not nearly as exciting as it sounds, because I had to work at Comic-Con. I had to go there and do security, which, the less said about that, the better, but I'm sure we'll probably talk about that on the next episode that I end up recording. And speaking of the next episode that we end up recording, I want everybody to tune in, because we actually have a very, very special guest. This is a big get. I am very excited about the next episode that we're doing. I'm excited about all the episodes that we're doing. But tune in for that next episode. And also, just let you guys know, on the next episode, I'm probably going to sound a little bit weird, because I'm currently recovering from a little bit of, laryngitis, strep throat, something or other. But yeah, I was out of commission for a while. But the less said about that, the better, and the more said about Doctor Who, the better. So, stay tuned, because here comes our episode of Screen Pups. fuck that season finale. I hated that episode. Alright, welcome to our Doctor Who episode of the Pupcast. I'm Aaron.
I'm Michelle. And who are you guys?
Jackson.
I'm Batman.
Kevin.
2.
Callum.
Treasure Planet.
Yay for inside jokes.
Well, now I know what to draw for the next title card.
By the way, she has now she is now almost done with the title card for our newsroom episode. It's fucking fantastic. I love it.
I can't wait.
All right. Yeah, you guys can't wait. It's going to largely reflect what we mostly talked about on that show.
When we get to like,
tune in, this is the.
Is it the reenactment?
no, it's Persona.
No, it's not. It's Persona.
It's gonna be great when we're actually on
can I
iTunes.
go ahead and say it? You'll have it done by the time I'm done editing this. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's the it's dogs as the Persona characters jumping out of a TV onto the set of Newsroom.
Sweet.
Yes.
I'm trying to type right now.
But yeah, for anybody who's tuning in the first time, this is the film Pupcast, in which it is. I'm sorry, but I can't say screened anymore. That's. But yeah, this is a movie podcast for movie buffs by movie buffs, and you know, for anybody who still listens to this on screen rather than the YouTube channel, let me just say. I've mentioned before what our Twitter handles are. At the end of the show, I'll mention it again. You guys need to follow us on Twitter because a few days ago, I looked on Twitter and Jackson had tweeted, "Screened is down, oh my god, the end times are here." And it made me suddenly realize, oh my god, this podcast could go away. I mean, this entire site could go away like that, and they would never tell us. So if that happens, the Pupcast will go on. Like I said, I'm building a website.
So hold on, Aaron. Is it a good film Pupcast or movie Pupcast?
Movie film Pupcast.
The movie film Pupcast from Movie Film Puppers. Alright. God.
One day, I was just walking along and I popped a movie film.
Hey, let's pop a movie into the DVD.
Carry on. This is the best opening ever.
No, it's not.
I'd be pissed, but that's so good. I can't be mad at you for that. That's perfect.
Now it's the
But yeah,
best
so the reason
podcast
why I said
ever.
you guys need... So the reason why you guys need to follow us on Twitter is because, yeah, Screen could go away at any time now. We are in the end days now. They are on life support and borrowing nutrition from other websites to survive. And so if that ever happens, the Pupcast will go on. It will go on our YouTube channel. And eventually I'm going to get a website built. I'm going to try and find some way to get it on iTunes. And when that happens, I'll announce it all through Twitter. So yeah, just follow one of us and you'll figure out when it actually happens. So, alright. I'm going to just start off by saying, how have you guys been?
I've been good. Guys?
Alright, next one.
Check. Okay.
We're all in a good mood today.
Yes, I've been not so good, but I'm not getting into that right now.
No depression right now, so me too, but fuck that shit. movie film.
If anybody's been unlucky enough to follow me on Twitter recently, I sound like a depressed Linkin Park fan.
As opposed to
Is
that
there any other
optimistic,
time?
happy Linkin Park fan. One time I walked into a Linkin Park fan, he was sunshines and rainbows.
Well, all right, we'll skip over that then. But yeah, I think we've all been a little bit exhausted. Next week, I've got to work at Comic-Con and at my normal job, so and do one of these podcasts.
Work
That's gonna be
at
an interesting
Comic-Con.
weekend. Huh?
New York
Work
Comic
at
Con.
Comic-Con.
Yeah, work there. Yeah,
Holy
I'm
shit.
volunteering.
You are
with,
living the dream, sir.
No, that must be stressful as fuck. All those millions of nerds being like, oh my fucking god, I have to deal with most of these people. Is what I imagine what it's like.
It's more fun because I actually have I volunteered to hand out flyers for somebody who has a booth there. So basically, they bought me a 4-day ticket for it, and they're going to pay me in addition to that.
Oh, dude.
Lucky fucking bastard.
It's not bad. But yeah, I did it last year, and basically people just kept coming up to me. Like, my first job when I got here in New York was doing just that. It was standing on the street corner, handing out flyers, and it was nothing but, fuck you, ass, just over and over and over again. I remember on my last day of doing it, it was raining so hard that the rain was almost going sideways. It was going at like a 45-degree angle. I had no protection on, no umbrella or nothing, no poncho, and I was just standing out there trying to, get people to sign up for this thing. And some guy in a suit and a big fancy umbrella and a briefcase come up to me and goes, "They won't give you umbrellas?" I go, "No, sir." And they go, "That sucks." And he just walks away. And I didn't get anybody to sign up in those conditions, so they fired me on that day. And as soon as they fired me, I swear to God it's true, as soon as they fired me, it stopped raining, and on my walk back to the subway, the sun came out like I had never seen before.
It's a sign.
But yeah,
you
so
did
I
the
basically,
right thing.
so basically I had to do the same thing last year at Comic-Con, except this time I was handing out flyers for a booth, and people were, and like, nerdy chicks in fantastic cosplays were coming up to me and hugging me and going, "Oh, I love this, I'm going to so go over to it."
Sorry I didn't have my cosplay done by then.
Oh. Should I put up a photo of you as a Pokemon trainer? I think it will get us tons of hits.
So I don't know if I'm that attractive.
But anyway,
Well,
yeah.
if you want me
Oh,
to-
actually, this does tie into what we're going to talk about today. I swear to you this is true. Like, 3 months before Comic-Con last year, I did a Doctor Who joke at a stand-up show, and I mean, like, there was almost nobody in the crowd, and I did a Doctor Who joke, and one person in the back laughed hysterically, and everybody else looked at me confused.
What was the
I was
joke?
at Comic-Con last year, handing out the flyers, and this girl and her boyfriend, who were dressed as Amy and Rory, came
them.
running up to me, and I swear to you this is true, she, like, grabbed me and went, "Oh my God! I was up here visiting from Texas a couple months ago, and you did a Doctor Who joke at a stand-up club, and it was the funniest thing I had ever seen." And all of a sudden, I just went, "Why the fuck am I working a normal job? This pays nowhere near as much as my normal job, but it's so much more rewarding."
How? What was the joke?
I want to have a
Come
joke
on.
now.
Oh, the joke was
Yeah.
the joke was that a comic before me on stage did this really crappy joke about how apartments in New York are like time machines, because the moment you get into them, you're taken back to the 1930s. It was some really crappy joke about how New York apartments are crappy.
Notice
I
how
got
I'm
up there-
laughing right now.
Yeah, I got up there after him and said, "He's right. New York apartments are like time machines, because my apartment is the same size as a 1950s British police box." And, like I said, the woman in the back just lost her mind at that joke. Which, it was a throwaway joke. It was just kind of like my little, like, hey, everybody kind of a joke. Just my walk onto the stage joke. And yeah, the woman in the back just lost her mind over that. So, which, yeah, that was a better ratio than I expected. But, yes, so, anyway. So, Comic-Con's next week. I'm going to see if I can get an episode done by then. But, did someone sign off?
Nope.
Or sign on.
There's a problem with this call.
Oh,
Hold on,
Callum's coming back. He's reconnecting. Don't worry. He's fine.
Oh, okay. Kevin, are you still
Yes.
there? Alright.
So, basically, Comic-Con and Doctor Who and introductions. And, hey, what else has everyone seen recently?
Yeah, exactly. We'll go ahead and start that while Callum's waiting to get back in. Anybody seen any movies they want to talk about?
I saw Fargo. Yeah.
Oh. We'll be talking about Fargo a little bit later, because there's a news story relating to
Oh,
Fargo.
What?
There's a news story relating to Fargo.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Fargo's an awesome movie. Go watch
It is.
Fargo.
Kevin, what about you?
I saw Swath.
Oh, wait, no, not that.
No, I saw Snow White and the Huntsman.
Cool.
Yeah.
How is it?
It's sort of it's a mixed bag. Like, I absolutely love the visual design and the aesthetic, like the art direction, sets, cinematography, the visual effects are like all absolutely top rate. But it's just it's just not an interesting story. It's just kind of boring, sort of dull. Like, everyone was talking about, like, Charlize Theron, how she is sort of the best thing in that movie. And that's sort of true, but there are moments where she is like really quiet and like whispers, and she's like completely menacing and evil. But then there's other times where she's shouting and she sounds completely over the top. And considering she's the best thing in the movie, she is also not in the movie for almost half of it. And
it's one of those in which, I mean, she is the villain, so it's not like they can have her overtake the film.
yeah, but she's like in like every other scene in like the first half hour, but then she disappears for maybe 40 minutes. Like there's just giant gap, and then when they show her again, she doesn't say anything. She just kind of just standing around, and then it cuts back to Snow White. And
It's like, meanwhile, at the Evil Queen's palace.
yeah, it's mostly just a check.
And now back to Snow White.
Were you trying to do an impersonation of the guy from the old Super Friends cartoon?
No, but
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom's headquarters, the evil queen is standing around looking pretty. Yeah, how is it visually? Because I mean,
it's gorgeous.
The trailer
It looks absolutely beautiful. But yeah, like the Dark Forest sounds, it's really cool looking. But they also spend like 40 minutes in there, or it actually feels like an hour, and it just keeps. Yeah, and there's a lot of scenes in that movie that just happen for something for the sake of happening. Like, it doesn't really interconnect or build on the rest of the story. It's just stuff is happening because something has to happen.
So it was basically like there was like a half hour's worth of story, and so they just put a bunch of filler in there. To make
Sort of.
pretty looking stuff.
Some of the stuff is more to show off some of the visual design, which is cool, but it also just doesn't help with the story. And Chris Hemsworth, he's good in it. He has actually a fairly convincing Scottish accent, but yeah, he's more of like Han Solo in Fantasyland. Yeah, and I saw Mirror Mirror, the other Snow White movie, and Snow White and Huntsman is vastly superior. Even though I really like Tarsem Singh, who was director of Mirror Mirror, but at least Mirror Mirror actually had the dignity of hiring actual dwarves for the dwarves. Like, the biggest problem I have with Snow White and the Huntsman is that they do sort of like the Lord of the Rings thing where they'll like digitally add the like actors' heads onto the smaller bodies, or they'll do forced perspective, or they just have the taller actors on different platforms. So, and the thing about Mirror Mirror was that even though it was a pretty dreadful movie, the dwarves in that movie were the best thing about it. So the fact that Snow White and the Huntsman like can't even have the dignity of doing that, and I think that's more of an issue of what the industry's like. But yeah.
So you think if Snow White and the Huntsman had the dwarves from Mirror Mirror in the
Oh, it would have been great.
Would have
been great.
It'd be the best Snow White movie ever.
But the Mirror Mirror is more of a comedy, so
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, there's a
Yeah, it seemed like it was more for like kids, whereas this was trying to go more serious.
yeah, and like the whole twist of like the kiss is, it feels a bit forced. I won't spoil it, but it feels it doesn't feel very convincing.
Please spoil it. I'm never going to watch this.
But there is a good twist on what they do with a troll and the bridge.
Is he actually a very nice man?
The troll is the bridge.
Is the troll
What?
actually a very nice man?
He said, "Is the troll actually a very nice man?"
No, the troll is the bridge.
Oh.
Ooh,
Oh.
that sounds good.
But yeah, and then there's like this whole thing where Snow White is like guided by birds, but they're magpies. And I don't think there's anything special about magpies, considering where I live there's about a bazillion of them, and they're completely annoying, so...
Kevin.
And they're all
Now, magpies
CGI.
just get easily distracted by shining things, and that's why she gets lost.
The movie you're describing is ridiculous.
Yeah. But even so, like, there's a whole bunch of other birds they could have had. Why are they using magpies? And they're all CGI.
Because having real magpies is just too much time.
CGI.
Because there would have been shit everywhere if it had not been CGI birds.
Yeah, well...
Might have turned off.
But yeah,
the
it's...
studio.
Well, now there's CGI shit.
Pardon? But, well, yeah, the
For good,
movie's
yeah.
it's generally inoffensive. It's a brilliant technical showpiece that's just kind of marred by dull storytelling. If there is one offensive thing about it, is that there's like 0 black people in it. but that's just a larger.
Oh, so
it's a larger problem, man.
So the title Snow White is really a misnomer. It should be Snow Black.
0 black people that I could see.
Yeah, Snow Black.
Yeah. That's just a larger problem that this Hollywood has.
Speaking of 0 black people, I saw Innkeepers.
No. Speaking of 0 black people, I saw Train Spotting.
Yeah.
There are no
Oh,
black
duh.
people in the entirety of Scotland. Seriously, in that entire movie, not one.
There's this comic, Mark Maron, who's talked about that. He said that he went to Scotland one time and he saw so few black people it actually freaked him out.
It's true. It's true. Northern
Yeah.
England is white as hell, and Scotland. The way I summed up Train Spotting was Obi-Wan and Sherlock Holmes do a fuck ton of drugs. Bad things happen.
Nice. That sounds like the greatest movie ever.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, I saw, it's October, so I'm, of course, seeing as many horror films as I can. I'm going to see VHS tomorrow, and I'll have my review up for it soon.
How timely.
Huh?
How timely. VHS.
But yeah, I saw Innkeepers, which just became available on Netflix Instant Queue. And it's kind of a dull film in that there's not a lot happening. I mean, the film was about these two people who work at this little hotel. It's almost like a bed and breakfast hotel, and it's about to go under, so there's nothing really that they can do about it. So they're just kind of there sitting there bored in the last couple days of being open, and they start to go, and one of them has decided that he wants to investigate ghosts, because that's like a hobby of his. He's like obsessed with that stuff. And so the other one, who is bored out of her mind, decides, I'm interested in that stuff too. Or, well, she's not, but she wants to do something to get her mind off the fact that they're going to be unemployed soon and that it's a hotel where they, have two people there at all times. So they decide to start investigating, like, ghost noises and stuff, and then they start to actually go, wait, there's actually some, I'm actually picking up some noise here in our hotel. I mean, and they didn't just throw this in. They said that there was a legend already for the hotel of a woman who killed herself a long time ago. But I mean, it's like, I'd say it's an hour and 40 minutes. I'd say an hour and 20 of it aren't actually a horror film. It's more just about these people just kind of hanging out. So it's kind of dull for those points. I mean, you do learn good character stuff, and I enjoy that. But it is kind of dull still. However, the horror stuff, it has been a long time since I have seen a horror film that actually knew how to shoot horror. Like, the director of that film, that guy has got a future in the horror industry because he knew how to frame shots, how long to stay on a shot to make it effective, how to slowly merge something into the shot, and, and the sound is fantastic, too. So, I would say that, it is easily worth watching if you want something to kind of, freak you out. Because, I mean, it might be boring for long parts of it, but the last 10 minutes of this film are a great horror film. So, yeah, check it out.
Cool.
But yeah, so let's go into news, and Callum can finish making a sandwich back there.
It's... yeah. No.
Go over to Kevin with the news.
Diddle-doo.
Diddle-da-da-da-da-da.
Well, this is an awkward disconnect.
Oh,
Kevin?
Is Kevin
hold
dead?
on. No, it's just...
Oh, he's getting up the news. He's having to somehow find the news on Treasure Planet.
Oh. It'll be my life's journey to remake Treasure Planet.
Treasure Planet is already a remake, right? You do know that.
Here's my pitch. We're going to remake Treasure Planet, but
On an
we're gonna
island.
set it back in the
On planet
1500s with pirates.
And it won't be a planet, it'll be an island in the middle of the ocean.
Well, my movie will have
Lights.
Muppets in it.
Even as I've gotten older, I still see Muppet Treasure Island. I now can see Muppet Treasure Island as being nothing more than a cash grab to get the Muppets out there, but I still kind of like it. I don't know that just because I saw it when I was young or what, but I still
I
kind of
will
like
genuinely
it.
sit
The
here and
Muppets
defend
are
every
lovely.
one of the Muppet movies. Well, of the actual Muppet movies.
Even
like the cinema
space.
I was about to say, are you going to...
No, I'm not going to defend things like the Muppets Wizard of Oz or anything like that. But I will be one of those people who sit here and will defend Muppets from space even.
Well, Kevin needs time to find the news.
I
Go
found
for
the
it.
news.
Oh,
Okay.
thank fucking
We'll
God.
save that for next week.
Yeah, bye everybody.
Kevin, alright, go ahead. What's our news?
So before I was teasing Fargo news, so they're gonna make a Fargo TV show, and it's gonna be
I
on.
can see that.
It's gonna be on FX.
Okay, sell me. Go.
Okay, so the Coen brothers are actually involved with it.
Sold.
Oh, so it's like a Fargo TV show, not just a TV show set in Fargo
Yeah.
with snow.
It is Fargo, the movie, but now a TV show.
Okay.
So it'll probably be like Marge Gunderson, that character. It'll probably be about her. However,
Yeah.
this is not the first time they've tried to make a Fargo TV show.
Go on.
In 1997, a pilot was shot. However, it was never aired, and the person who played Marge was Edie Falco.
Wow.
However, Falco, of course, she's doing Nurse Jackie now, so
Yeah.
who do you get to play Marge?
I don't know. Marge is, that film stands alone. I can't really imagine anyone else as those characters.
I can throw out a name.
Go on.
Amy Ryan.
Who? Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you betcha.
What accent are you trying to do there, Jackson?
This the accent from Fargo. Have you not
Fargo.
seen the video where they've cut together? Oh, it's a minute and a half long video where all it is the people saying "yeah" in Fargo. It's one of the best videos I've ever seen. Oh yeah.
Except when you have
yeah,
it with
that's
a
a
British
good one.
accent, it doesn't work. You have to be
No,
from
it doesn't.
Minnesota,
I'm not from Minnesota, so.
A
obviously.
British person trying to do a Minnesotan accent somehow creates a Swedish accent.
Well, no,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Minnesota accent is slightly Swedish. The
That's
Swedish.
true, it is, yeah. I mean, the people of Minnesota were basically like the Swedes who arrived here and decided to go out into the tundra of Minnesota and just multiply. So, I mean, yeah, I can understand how that accent still exists there.
So yeah, it's the Coens are involved, but it sounds like the show is going to be run by Noah Hawley, who his most notable credit is working on Bones.
Which I hear is a decent show.
Yeah, I hear some good things
I've
about
not
it.
seen it, but...
not.
alright.
It's
All right.
it's one of those things that started off good, but then because they kept dragging it out and dragging it out and dragging it out, it completely and utterly lost everything good about it.
Wow.
Yeah,
All right.
like you know when shows take so long to resolve will they won't they that it eventually just becomes like instead of being cheery or something before it becomes like no seriously this is annoying now. No, so just get hooked. It's
yeah,
one of those.
yeah.
Wait, on that note, do any of you watch Castle?
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes, we've discussed this, Jackson.
Oh yeah, we did. Castle's great. Anyway, carry on.
Alright, what's our next news story?
Our next news story is that Matt Reeves is now directing Dawn of the Planet of the rest of the title.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many movies can they string out of one metaphor?
I don't know.
Four, obviously. The trilogy, and then the pointless fourth movie.
The
There was six.
beginning of the adventure
Of the rise
of
of
the
the Planet of the
journey
Apes.
of the Planet of the Apes.
To the center of the Planet of the Apes.
The Syndrome of the Planet of the Apes.
Wait,
The movie.
isn't that already a movie? Isn't it Journey into...
Yeah, the second one was called Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Crap, they've already done it.
Charlton Heston had the best bit of contract negotiation ever, in which he said, "All right, fine, I will come back and I will do a sequel, but you have to write a sequel that guarantees I will never do another one of these." So at the end of the movie, Charlton Heston destroys the plan and kills himself and everyone living on it. And they made 3 more movies after that.
I loved The Rise of the Planet of the Apes, except every single thing to do with a human that was not played by John Lithgow. Because the ape section, that was phenomenal, really well written and that sort of thing, like brilliant acted. And then you go to the human side, and it's literally the most it's just evil animal testing. The guy who runs Animal Testing Corporation could not be more evil if it turned out that he likes to club.
Oh, the guy who ran that guy was paper thin. That dude was my money. Please, I can't die without my money.
I run a business.
I
not a
hear he
petting
likes
zoo.
money.
Yeah, but like,
I have
and of course,
more
don't forget
things
Draco
to
Malfoy.
buy.
Don't forget Draco Malfoy, whose entire thing was, "I hate animals because I'm a jerk."
Well, that guy could actually understand some character to him, because, I mean, you just look at his dad and you're like, I know people like that. I know that relationship right there.
And he's just basically there just because it's a job.
Yeah.
And his dad or his uncle gave it to him, and he just hates it.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, I understood Draco Malfoy.
I do love the movie, like, and especially like the first time Caesar talked. I mean, just about everything from the final act. Essentially, it was one of the most exciting things I've seen in ages. But as I lamented back in my awards of 2011, which I finished that, is that if they fix the human stuff, we will. I do firmly believe we could have a film of the year. But as it stands now, it was both my nicest surprise, because of course, don't forget the trailers showed off everything, especially the international one. They showed off literally everything in order and who it happens to, except like everything happens. Other than like the subtle intricacies of the animal shelter part in the middle act, they showed all the big major plot beats in order, in full, for you to see. So I went in with low expectations.
This is why I don't watch
Which is why I went in with
trailers.
low expectations. But the fact that I really enjoyed it despite that, when it was raised. And then it's also most disappointing because I know that I could have watched an utterly amazing film of the year if the human side was in the slightest bit well developed, essentially. If they fix the human side this time, I am fairly certain I could have one of the like top 3 films of the year.
Yeah, and and at first when Rupert Wyatt stepped down from the project, I was immediately worried because he obviously brought a touch to that movie that made it such a great film. But I think Matt Reeves is a terrific substitute.
Let Me In was a fantastic movie.
Yeah, I've only seen Let the Right One In, but I hear really good things about Let Me In. So
Yeah, I think that is an excellent tone for that series to have, the same kind of tone that one had, that kind of dark, but with a sense of heart.
Yeah, and Matt Reeves is he's only 2 other projects in his name, so for big movies, so him directing more is a good thing.
Yeah. All right. So what's next?
Adele's song for Skyfall was released.
Anybody heard it?
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
No, it's okay. It's a 60s Bond tune. It's nowhere near as good as the Chris Cornell one, which is still the best Bond theme tune. It's okay. Adele has written many better songs.
It's a good throwback to older Bond.
It needed a bit where she let go more. The ending needed to be more. It should have been bigger at the end. It's all way too subdued. There's no moment when I'm like, yeah,
do you think this says a lot
Bond,
about
guys.
Adele, like as a singer, that basically as soon as 21 got big last year, that where everybody just goes, Adele's got to do the next Bond theme tune, hasn't she? And everybody just sort of goes, when it was announced, it was like, yeah, that's about right, really. Do you think that's
Well, everyone has known for at least as soon as Adele existed that it was going to be Adele, because
when she did Chasing Pavements, nobody really seemed to give a shit other than Chasing Pavement. It wasn't, of course, until 21 came out of nowhere and suddenly demonstrated this woman can do songs that everybody just started paying attention to her. Unless it was a different story in America, did she snap up immediately, or was this a sort of thing where Rolling the Deep happened and then suddenly she's the biggest thing ever?
I'm getting old. I don't know who Adele is.
Nice.
No, I know who Adele is. I've just never really listened to any of her music. So I mean, I honestly, I just kind of eventually got to a point in my life in which I went, all right, I've got music, I've got movies, I've got video games, and I've got comic books. Music will help me get laid, but I like the other ones so much more, so I gotta drop music from the things I'm interested in. So I don't really follow music that much anymore.
You're like a Pokemon, you can only learn 4 things. And then when you learn something, you have to forget something else.
Because I was just going to ask you lot, are Mumford & Sons actually as big in America as apparently a 600,000 copy first week sales says it is?
Adele is big in America. I will give you that. Yeah,
he was talking about Mumford & Sons, who are fucking abysmal.
Mumford & Sons, yeah, they do fake folk music, and I don't think they're bad. They're just inoffensive. Song, they don't do anything.
They did that song "Little Lion Boy," which is one of the worst songs ever written in my life, and makes me want to drill my eyes out with a glass Coke bottle affixed to a spoon.
Songs. I just don't like. They don't do any music that particularly sticks with me. Which is kind of why I don't get the insane popularity they have.
Well,
Well, I know what the music I'm going to use for our breaks this week.
No! God damn it, you! You will not. You will find something to do with Persona. You will find
Or Treasure
the
Planet.
fucking theme tune. Or Treasure Planet. You will find the soundtrack to Titan AE.
Jackson, so I'm guessing when Mumford and Sons did a song for Brave, you were like there, just sort of burying your head in your hands and trying to kill yourself there, I'm guessing.
No, because I wasn't ever looking up Mumford and Son news because I don't like them.
No. They apparently they did songs for Brave at some point. Anyway.
They did. Next story.
Yes. All right, next story.
Mark Webb has been confirmed to direct the next Spider-Man movie.
That's good. I thought that he did fairly decently with that. I thought that he got some stuff right, but some stuff wrong. But I think a lot of stuff they got wrong was more.
I think he did the best take up material.
Yeah, it was like I think that he did as best as he could with the material.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they basically back off and let him have more control, I think it'll be a much better film.
I'd like to see about
the ending would have worked.
Acts like 500 Days of Summer.
Well, the ending would have worked better in a Mass Effect game than Spider-Man, and it came off as incredibly cheesy in Spider-Man with all the stuff with the cranes. I was like, this is out of a Mass Effect fucking game, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a sucker for those kinds of scenes, except that
But you have to have earned them.
Huh?
You have to have earned them. It has to be, he did something that caused everyone to like him, rather than just go New York.
Yeah, which, I mean, I hate saying it, but I kind of do well with those go New York kind of moments. But, I mean, it was more of, I mean, and also, yeah, it's like, the idea was right there. The idea was right.
Yeah.
Because Spider-Man is New York's hero. He is the guy who knows who he is, the New York hero. So New York should kind of come to his aid, but he hadn't done enough. I agree with you.
He saved a kid from falling off a bridge.
He saved that one kid, and don't get me wrong, I love the hell out of that moment. That is the moment in which the Spider-Man fan in me like wants to cry when he's coaching the kid to climb up. But yeah, he should have done more for the rest of New York. Like, he saved that one kid.
Yeah.
You
well,
could
you never
keep
knew that
going.
one
Like,
kid could have grown
it
up
made
to be
me think.
president of the United States.
Well, not in that 6 months. He could not have. But it made me think back to the. Spider-Man 2, the moment on the train where they're all just kind of looking at him and
You gotta
like,
go
you know,
through me.
Huh?
You gotta go through me first.
Yeah, I fucking love that moment. I can't help it. That's one of my favorite moments in cinema history, and I know it should not be, but as a Spider-Man fan, I'm like, that's fucking it. They got it. Oh god.
As a depressed teenager, I fucking hate those moments so much because Spider-Man is the symbolism. He's New York's hero. He's become New York's hero, but to me, he was always, this is the big outcast hero. This is the guy who everyone hates at school. And then when he got all the powers, it didn't make any difference. Everyone still hates him, but he will carry on doing what he does because he's a good person. And as soon as they bring.
I view it kind of as being a lot like how America is right now. How, like, you know, there's like 30% of the country that's like, oh, Obama wants gay marriage to be forced and mandatory, and he's going to take all my guns away. And then there's the rest of everybody else who just goes, no, man, that's not how it is. That's, you know, we're. But the problem is, the smart people who actually understand stuff, they never speak up. They just kind of go back to reading their paper and never say anything. So that's how I view Spider-Man, kind of. It's that, yeah, that 30% of dumbasses who hate him, they're the ones running everything. They're the ones saying everything. They're the ones speaking up and throwing stuff at his face when he's trying to save the day. But then there's that other part that just kind of like, you know, they just kind of give him a little nod and thumbs up, and it's like, that's, you know, they get it. That's how I kind of...
I just wish people were more cynical. But like, I want the Spider-Man Venom arc to start with Spider-Man fucking murdering Flash Thompson. That's the Spider-Man I want. I don't think everyone else is with me on that. I think I might be alone.
Maybe just a little bit.
Considering the fact that the current Venom book is actually good for the first time in Venom's history, and it's because Venom is Flash Thompson, I don't want that to happen because I want that to be the Venom movie.
Not the later comics Flash Thompson. I just mean like...
Oh yeah, the Flash Thompson in that, but yeah.
When he forgave Flash Thompson in the the new Spider-Man movie, I thought that was really unearned. I'm like, no, you should fucking hate that dude. He was an asshole to you, and he was an asshole to everyone else. And
I don't think they forgave him. I think it was more of, I mean, Flash Thompson like tried to go out there and like put his hand out and kind of like go, listen, man, I've been a jerk and I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was after
that's when Spidey
Ben Parker died. That's when it
Yeah,
happened.
it was after Ben Parker died, in which Flash kind of went, okay, I gotta stop messing with you, I'm sorry, and Peter kind of, lashed out at him. And then at the end of the film, to me, that was very much what guys are. I mean, you can talk to any guy who's ever gotten into a fist fight with some guy who you had an argument with. After they get into the fist fight, they both kind of look at each other like, we're cool now, don't worry. And, I mean, that's how it kind of seemed to me at the end of that.
Gee, if only women were like that. We hold grudges for all eternity.
Why can't you boys just hate each other in private? Like girls do.
The thing is, I imagine Peter Parker to be one of those more darker... I've always imagined Peter Parker to have a really hidden dark side that no one's ever brought out properly, and I don't know.
And you want him to snap.
I want to see him snap. I want to see him go fucking mental. That's what I want to see in like the Venom story. No, I do
you
not
want
that.
what is it?
I want Chronicle did.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
like,
you want Chronicle.
Chronicle
you
is
want
my
him to go
favorite.
Chronicle on their ass.
Oh,
Why
fuck!
can't more superhero movies just be Chronicle?
Chronicle was so amazing.
Listen, Avengers was such a good comic book movie, but if that movie had just been like Thor kind of going, oh man, Sif totally made fun of me for puking during sex, I'm gonna go and rain thunder down on all New Jersey, it would not have been a good movie.
Like that. I mean, like when it goes, when Chronicle goes dark, it goes all in. I mean, like,
I agree with you on
movies
that,
to be like that.
When something goes dark, it should kind of go all in, but I don't know. Read Back in Black.
Also, I'd like to hear Chronicle work because it kept the focus on the characters. Chronicle 2 will fail because it wants to answer for conspiracy that nobody gives a shit about.
Why is there a Chronicle 2? What?
Because money. Money.
But what? Next story,
Next
please.
story.
So,
Next story, Chronicle 2.
God damn it!
We've broken him, guys. We've broken him.
The last scene of Chronicle was one of the most beautiful scenes of any movie this
no,
year.
it's a bit forced.
No, it made me cry like a bitch. Shut the fuck up. I agree. I don't know. I did stick with because the last scene with the guy who was kind of the jerk at the beginning, and then the way they switch places and all that is. I didn't think that would be earned, but when it came around and that actually happened, I was like, oh, I love this film so much.
Good Lord, I loved Chronicle. I absolutely loved Chronicle.
So what was the next story?
Well, I just wanted to say about Mark Webb. I only brought that story up just because there was a little bit of they weren't sure whether Mark Webb would be coming back just because he had a commitment with Fox Searchlight, because Fox Searchlight put out 500 Days of Summer, and they only agreed to do that because he would do another film for them, and they wanted him to do that movie next instead of Spider-Man 2, and Spider-Man 2 already had a release date, so it is...
Because that's always a good idea.
Well, if he gets your movie out, then, he didn't know he was going to have to make a Spider-Man movie at that time. So, yeah, our next news story.
Yeah.
Chronicle 2. No, Seth.
I didn't even think about it, but hold on. Avengers, 11 weeks and running. All right. I mentioned the Avengers during our Spider-Man conversation. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, 11 weeks and running. All right.
When are we going to have an actual Avengers episode? Or we just go fucking full out and talk about the Avengers?
Why don't we just wait till the end of the year?
Something tells me that will be our last episode of the year, because that's when we do our top 10.
Yes!
Give our top 10, and something tells me that will be our Avengers episode.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Everyone will just take turns, go, right, Kevin, what's your number one? Avengers. Oh, why? Well, I think the Avengers... Wait, Jackson, what's your... And then we just basically go around over and over and over again, just saying the Avengers.
It's the point where I just go, fuck, do I like Avengers or Chronicle better? Shit!
Oh.
Shit, guys!
I can't
I'll just say
It's gonna be a
this:
tough
Avengers
one.
is not my number one movie.
It's not
Yeah, I was
my
gonna
number
say that is out of all of us, Kevin is the one guy who I don't even know if he put Avengers on the list. But
No, it's on there.
it's on there.
It's a very
It's not
short
my
list
number
just
one
because.
movie. The other
There's-
Joss
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Whedon.
definitely
good
it's not
movies.
Kevin's number one. I can go ahead.
Yeah,
and
the other
guarantee
Joss
that.
Whedon movie is my number one movie of the year so far. And I've
The
done
Hunger
No,
Games is still on my top 10 list. That's how bare bones.
Fuck
the
Hunger
movie's been.
Games. Oh, okay, fair enough.
But yeah, like The Grey is still my favorite movie of the year so far.
No,
Will Indie Game the movie be on anyone's favourite movie list?
I haven't seen
I haven't
it
seen
yet.
it, but it's now on Netflix, so I'll check it out.
Don't! It's terrible! Please! Fucking,
Why?
I hate that film.
Why is it?
We can
because
also
it's-
do a bottom 10 if you guys want.
No.
Because Iron Sky. No, because at the in the second in the game the movie starts, it's got this like really sappy chiptune, sad music. Let's all feel emotion now, guys. Of just like telling you what to feel in a documentary, being way too sappy, and actually just like treating the source material of video games with a pretentiousness that is sickly and making them more than they are, rather than celebrating them for the fact that hey, they're video games. Also, Phil Fish is a dick.
I think I have to support the movie just because it's a Canadian production.
If we were to do a bottom 10, it would basically just consist of me going on about the Sweeney for about 45 minutes and you all going at me like, yeah.
Shit, there really weren't that many good movies this year. I'm looking back over and there's like Moonrise
This kind of
Kingdom.
was a shit film for years. I
Shit
mean, there were a
film
lot
for
of decent movies. There were a whole lot of decent films this year, but none that, like, not a whole lot that was like, oh, fuck yes. Like, but I don't know. There might be. When it comes time, I might actually end up, going, oh, wow, this is a hard choice to number it down 10. But that is much later in the year.
There may be 4 Joss Whedon films on people's lists.
That's actually a good point. I've seen a lot of movies this year that come out going like, yeah, that was good and bad, but I think there's only been 2, possibly 3, that have come out going, oh my god, seriously, yes. But the same, and then there's been a couple of movies I think, meh. Haywire's a movie I kind of think, meh. And then
Haywire was last year.
Haywire, I think, is a good concept that could have been a great movie if a bit more time.
It's a terrible action movie.
Yes,
I really like Haywire. It's not an action movie; it's a spy movie. But the scene in
but it's not a very good spy movie at that either.
No, it is the scene in Dublin where she's just walking away from that guy. It's got that really long shot. It's really well done. Haywire's great. Fuck you.
Haywire's boring.
What's the next story?
Well, instead of going through the last story, I'm just going to ask, what's everybody looking forward to for the rest of the year for movies?
Oh.
Looper, obviously, which I'm seeing in a couple of days.
The 2 movies with Joss Whedon.
Actually, yeah, there are some things that I'm looking forward to, and they all come out next week when I'm at fucking Comic-Con and can't go to them. I'm looking forward to Argo, Sinister, and Seven Psychopaths. That's gotten a lot of
Seven
press.
Psychopaths. Oh, that is the follow-up to one of the best movies ever made.
Oh god, I've just remembered that's happening. Yeah,
In Bruges,
yeah. So that needs to go there.
Yes!
Much Ado About Nothing.
Yeah, so I still have 3 movies I'm looking forward to, and like I said, they all come out next week. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to them. Argo, Skyfall, Seven Psychopaths, and the 2 films with Joss Whedon's name on it, which Much Ado About Nothing and In Your Eyes.
For me, there's Argo, because I've heard great things about that. Much Ado About Nothing, which I'm really excited about because even though I hate Shakespeare, I pretty much don't like Shakespeare.
That's because you went to school. When you watch that, I guarantee you'll probably start to like Shakespeare again.
Much Ado About Nothing. Smashed. When that comes, one with Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Aaron Yo Bitch Paul. The Man with the Iron Fists, which if anybody tries to sit here and tell me that looks like a bad movie, then I don't want to associate with you.
It could be so bad.
Skyfall, which I really hope is going to be returned to form after Quantum of Solace. End of Watch when that comes out, because I was at Eurogamer and before there was this Grid 2 developer session, they played a trailer for End of Watch, which was a movie I'd heard a bit about, but I didn't know what it was about, and I watched that trailer, and suddenly I was like, I want to see this movie now. Like, literally just now.
I saw the trailer today, but I had my headphones in, because I put my headphones in during trailers, because normally I look at the floor, but I saw the trailer for End of Watch without any dialogue, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, there's that, and then Pitch Perfect, on the 21st of December. Speaking of which, by the way, terrible time to release your movie. That is 7 days after The Hobbit, 1 day after The Life of Pi, and 4 days before Christmas. Do you want your movie to bomb in the UK or what? I mean, who thought that was a good idea? Then of course...
I'm excited for... No, I was just going to say I'm excited to go to a cinema and watch all the Quentin Tarantino films in a row.
That Django Unchained is not until 23rd of January next year here in the UK, which pisses me off. And then there's also... And then The Hobbit, obviously. But I actually have a little movie confession to make here. I hope you don't all, judge me for this.
I haven't either.
I have never seen any of the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah, I haven't either. Just like I
Yeah,
said.
I mean, I want to. I watched them once when I was like, really young in that sort of immature phase of it seems like talking forever and it's boring. But like, it's one of those things that I've never gotten around to watching like as an actual adult, that's somebody who sits and enjoys movies now. So I need to remedy that before The Hobbit comes out, because The Hobbit looks really good.
Yeah. I was sort of kind of mixed on what I was hearing about The Hobbit just because they hadn't shown anything for like 9 months, but yeah, I'm excited about The Hobbit again. Looks pretty good. And I'm excited for... I'm curious to see Cloud Atlas. I think I'm going to go see it
That's
now.
next year.
I'm curious about that. It's coming out in America this year.
Yeah, it comes out
Wait,
this
what?
year.
Yeah.
I'm amazed none of you two have actually
Hold on.
listed Wreck-It Ralph as well.
Oh shit! Yeah, Wreck-It
I was
Ralph.
gonna say that when you got to me,
Oh,
if you
sorry.
ever got to
Sorry.
me.
Michelle.
That's
yes, what are you
February
looking
for
forward
us.
to?
We
I'm
have to
looking
wait
forward to
till
Wreck-It
February.
Ralph.
Hooray!
We have to wait till February. It's the Muppets
February.
all over again. Last year,
Yeah.
Are we gonna wait till?
yeah, you got the Muppets in November last year. We had to wait until February the 21st. It was literally the most agonising wait I've ever had. And now I have to do it again for Wreck-It Ralph, which looks fantastic.
It does look fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that trailer. Speaking of trailers,
Let's do it. Die Hard 5, motherfucker.
that's right. Time for trailer talk, everybody. We're gonna go into our trailers this week, and this week we have. I don't stick that upright, otherwise it's gonna sound weird.
There's the
But
police.
yeah, hey, police in the background. Thank you.
They're coming for Jackson just because he sang that song.
Copyright infringement on whoever Beethoven.
No,
Raping
that's
of
on my
idiots.
side. That's on my side. They're coming for everyone on my block because I live in a crappy neighborhood. But yeah, anyway, okay, so this week on Trailer Talk, we have 2 things to talk about. Actually 3 if you guys want to talk about the Croods.
The what?
Anybody want to talk about the
Is that new
Croods?
DreamWorks one? I literally
Yeah.
just read the article for that 20 minutes before we all came on, so... I haven't
I think me and
actually
Michelle are
seen
the only
it,
ones who saw that.
but...
I think Michelle and I are the only ones who saw it. I am not interested at all. Michelle?
Meh.
Yeah.
Is it DreamWorks?
All right.
That's great.
basically?
Good. Actually, it looks dumb for DreamWorks. DreamWorks looks
Except-
like it was going in the right direction, and now...
Except
DreamWorks
it's
made
the
Kung Fu
How to
Panda
Train Your
2.
Dragons people.
Oh.
And it has Nicolas Cage in it.
Hell
Emma Stone.
yeah!
And Emma Stone.
And Emma Stone.
Damn it!
Emma Stone as a cave, as it's... I don't know, talk about the character designs real quick, because it seemed like with all of the characters, they tried to make them look very, very caveman-like, very thuggish, and very ooh-ah-ah. But with Emma Stone's character, it really looked like they were trying to go, let's evolve her by like 500 years or something. Or like they tried to go, well, we still have to sell sex a little bit in this, I guess.
Yes, because women always have to be pretty
Yeah.
no matter what.
Cleavage.
Yeah.
Is there a scene in the trailer, perchance, where she's pulled off to a cave by like the skin, by like her hair or something, perchance?
Yeah,
By a
yes.
cave-
Because I
by a
wouldn't put
caveman that
that
looked like
past
Rory a
DreamWorks
little
after
bit.
Puss in Boots joke, seriously.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. But the things we're actually going to talk about this week are Die Hard. What's it called?
A Good Day
Live
to
for your-
Die Hard.
A Good Day to Die Hard. Well, it's based on a Star Trek line, so that's awesome.
A Good Day to Die Hard.
Die Hard in space.
Well, that's been
Oh,
on
God,
the
that-
Enterprise.
And we're
Treasure
talking about
Planet.
and about the Lone Ranger.
what trailer?
what about
let's start
movie-
with Die Hard
what-
since we're already talking about that one.
What about movie 43? It looks terrible.
I didn't
Carry
hear
on.
that.
I'll just say this. It looks like the 10. And the 10
The what?
was terrible. Have you not seen
It-
the 10?
No.
Yep.
Oh. It's basically the children's
terrible.
hospital people and like American, was it Wet Hell in American Summer? It's like all those people, but it's terrible. It is literally movie 43. It's just a sketch comedy movie, and it was dreadful.
So a movie we never heard of is just as terrible as another movie we never heard of. Fascinating.
I heard it.
I've actually been following that for like, I've actually been following the progress of like that release for years. 'Cause I remember it's been like finished since 2010, and they're literally just going to release it next year, which probably indicates it's not very good when it's been held back for about 3 years.
Callum, you've turned into a Dalek.
Oh dear. This might be because I'm trying to get the A Good Day to Die Hard trailer up, because I haven't seen that yet. So like, watch you all talk about it, I can have a virgin view.
Yeah.
So
Well, in that case, we'll start by talking about Lone Ranger while you search that up. All right.
Lone Ranger looks really terrible. Move on.
everything looks really terrible. Let's move on.
I did not think that Johnny Depp playing Tonto was going to be racist at all. Like, I thought we had kind of moved past that, and I didn't even give it a second thought. Until I saw this trailer, and I saw Johnny Depp as Tonto, I went,
Oh, no,
that's kind
pretty
of fucking racist. Anybody else?
I'm still excited for it. Like, I want
Why
a good
is
western.
he called the Lone Ranger when he has a sidekick who gets higher billing than him? Just saying.
Well, it's Johnny Depp, so you're not gonna put another name above him.
Yeah.
But he's the Lone Ranger, and he has a the Lone. I've known about the Lone Ranger for fucking years, because you know the Lone Ranger. I still can't get past that.
Well, that's just something you have to get past.
Okay, it looks like the Wild Wild West. So
A tiny bit. I hate saying it, but a tiny bit.
a big bit.
No, not a big bit. There's no mechanical spiders or steampunk weapons.
Well,
in
you
this.
don't know that yet. You haven't seen the movie.
It's
Lone Ranger versus a giant mechanical spider. Oh, God.
Does Johnny Depp do the rap?
Well, I'm still
The
excited
Wild,
for Lone
Wild
Ranger.
West.
I just want a good western. That's all I want.
Yeah.
This looks
it
super
looks like there's-
stylized western, which if that counts.
It just looks like a general
Go see Rango
blockbuster.
if you want a good western.
I was about to say that
With Johnny Depp in it.
That was the last good western to come out. This looks more like a stylized action film that happens to be set in the West. It doesn't. I don't know if it's going to like encompass any of like the elements of storytelling that go into a western.
Probably.
I'm gonna go ahead and say no.
No, I think there'll be western tropes in there.
Yeah. Well, I guess
And there's
there
like a
were-
lot of practical effects going on in there, which is really nice. for me.
$260 million worth of effects in there.
Yeah.
I guess there's some practical effects, but I mean, they keep talking about that train like it's a time machine. I mean, for a second, I thought this honestly was a science fiction film.
Well, the train was basically like a science fiction device back then. Like it was
I
this
guess,
marvelous
yeah.
device
Yeah,
that was like they even pointed out in the trailer. Like Tom Wilkinson's talking, it's like this train is like the fastest we could ever travel was on the horse, and now we have this beautiful train that does so much, carries so much and different people, and doesn't have to run on like it's not an animal, so you could just
Hang about. Did someone just make a Red Dead Redemption movie?
What?
Because that's what you're describing. It's about the whole encroaching of technology thing. That's Red Dead Redemption, right in.
But that had cars. That was set in the early 20th century.
No, I know, but thematically, I was just like, is this going to be similar to Red Dead Redemption? Because then I'm back on board.
I don't know.
I don't
It's hard to
think
say.
so.
Like they don't really show much of the story, but yeah, like westerns have been box office poison for decades now, and you know what? This is a big gamble, and it's like an incredibly expensive movie. But so what's Pirates of the Caribbean when it came out? Like Pirates weren't.
It really does seem like they are trying to make a new Pirates of the Caribbean with this.
Yeah, like the last Pirates movie before Pirates of the Caribbean was Cutthroat Island, which tanked. So basically,
I thought the last pirate movie before Pirates of the Caribbean was Treasure Planet.
I'm not
think
sure
so.
about that actually.
No, but seriously, wasn't that like a Pirates in
think it was.
Space? It was Pirates in Space about a year before Treasure.
Well, I mean,
before,
Well, Treasure Planet was a science fiction movie. Like I'm talking about traditional pirates on
Okay,
the open
yeah.
sea.
the same way Lord of the Rings fantasy.
Yeah, like it's this incredible gamble. Like Disney's doing it again. Like it's Gore Verbinski, which also when it popped up and said Academy Award winner Gore Verbinski, I had to do a double take. I was like, what? What are you in for? Oh yeah, Rango. So yeah,
Actually,
I'm
that does give me hope. Thinking about the fact that Gore Verbinski did do Rango does give me a little bit of hope. But I don't know. This is meant to be serious, whereas that was meant to be, humor. But
yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
also in this place where every single big blockbuster Disney does is incredibly expensive now. like John Carter, Tron Legacy, Alice in Wonderland,
Avengers.
Prince of Persia, like all those movies cost around like $200 million or more to make.
Yeah, and not a lot of them did very well. I mean, Tron Legacy barely even made its money back from what memory serves. So
It broke around even, I think. But
yeah, it broke around even.
Mm-hmm.
like even
So
they wanted to make the last Pirates of the movie, the On Stranger Tides. They wanted to make that for like a lower budget, but then it said on IMDb that the budget for that movie was $250 million.
yeah, which makes me, it makes me wonder if this one doesn't do well, what will that say to Disney? I mean,
Maybe
Yeah,
they should do cheaper. Maybe their movies will start getting better if they actually have like a smaller budget.
yeah, but they also
stick
run
to
into problems.
princesses and superheroes, Disney. That's your new.
Except both Alice in Wonderland and Pirates of the Caribbean both made over $1 billion.
I have to remember
Yeah.
that Alice in Wonderland did do.
I'm
Yeah,
continually
I think it's
shocked
because
by
of the
that.
Tim Burton and Johnny Depp fans and like the hardcore Alice in Wonderland fans too. So it's like it had a lot like backing it up and
And I bet Lone Ranger will be in 3D when it comes out.
Oh, it definitely will. Did you see that bullet flying out in slow motion towards
Yep.
the screen? That's totally 3D that they're going to do.
And yeah, but you know what? This movie probably won't be the big bomb that everyone
I don't
might
think.
think
I
it
don't
will.
think it'll
It
be
is
long,
opening on the July 4th weekend, so
which is a good place for it to open.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's good for a
Alright.
Western, I guess, if you can hope
Yeah.
for.
So, Callum, did you find the Die Hard?
Give me a second, it's just finishing up here.
It's a minute long. How could it be taking you that long?
Yeah, I watched this fake parody one first by accident.
Oh no! Hey, there's a pretty good parody Die Hard 5
Yeah, the one
4
from-
trailer. It's like 2.5 minutes long, and they've
Yeah.
acted parts of it out themselves, so you kind of believe it's Die Hard
Yeah.
5, and you're like,
Yeah, I was-
wait, oh.
Yeah, the thing that kind of shocked me is how relatively close to the actual trailer it is.
Oh yeah, because they just took the
Yeah.
plot beats and then threw explosions in.
Yes.
So yeah, Die Hard 5.
Yeah,
explosions
Die Hard 5,
and
you're right. The trailer is nothing but explosions.
no, there is some tits.
Yeah, there's tits.
exploding tits.
No,
No,
sadly
this is not Michael Bay.
Right, it's
I
not
actually-
a Katy Perry music video.
The pointless shot of the breasts was really like shocking me because I'm like,
It's for teenage boys.
no, because I'm like, wait, Die Hard never did that. That's not Die Hard. Even in Die Hard 4, they never really got into that. Die Hard.
To be fair, it hasn't been a Die Hard movie in a long time.
No, it's been 5 years. It's not even the longest gap.
No. I mean, like the Die Hard movies haven't been Die Hard movies since arguably the third one.
No, but every odd number Die Hard movie is good, so we have hope.
Really, I thought 4.0 was a good dumb action movie.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
It was a bad film.
Yeah, it's now 3-1 on this one.
Yeah, it's just like
Aw,
minus
you
explosions
guys.
for the 1 minute that trailer is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a fact. It's a fact that it doesn't really seem like it just seems like a dumb action.
You know what it
movie
looks like?
instead of really,
It
like,
looks
Die
like
Hard
the
one.
Expendables 2. Maybe it's just like
It
the
looks what
Eastern
the Expendables 2
European
should be,
architecture,
yeah.
but it looks like
also,
the
the
Expendables
lighting
2.
is very gray, which is kind of what the Expendables kind of lighting is in those trailers. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know.
I really liked the trailer until the ending where he did that one, the
007 of
and I was like,
Plainview, New
is
Jersey.
is that the best one-liner you can come up with to end your trailer? Because if it is, then you don't have a good script.
What it is
Because you should have a
topical,
better line than that.
Because James Bond's coming out soon, you see, and this might, steal some thunder away.
No,
to me that was like when in the 5-year engagement, every single commercial for that had the little girl going, "I'm Katniss,"
And she doesn't even say that in the movie.
I was about to, yeah. There was no way they could have known that movie was going to be big while filming the movie. They had to have done that just for the commercial. So yeah, it to me seems like they are trying to piggyback on the success of something.
Also, from looking
Yeah, it's coming out around the same
like
time.
the descriptions of that, I get a feeling here that this movie is being purely designed so that they can try and so that if it does well, they can then do more movies with John McClane's son as an artificially way being able to extend the franchise.
I think you have a point there.
Whereas I am fairly certain we can all agree on this. What I'd rather see is a movie starring Lucy McClane.
Well, guess what? She is in the new movie.
Yes.
What, Miss Mary Evans?
Yes, you got the joke. Well
Yep.
done.
Are you,
The joke is I'm
are
a
you kidding me?
pervert.
After her last couple of movies, she needs a hit.
She doesn't hit. No, because I was like, are they just going to forget that he had a daughter as well?
She pops up, don't worry.
No. Okay, well that's good at least.
Yeah.
I was also the movie uses the trailer font from actually just the general
Girl with the
font
Dragon
from
Tattoo.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah, it does.
which is weird.
It was weird.
It could just be a coincidence.
I like the song. I like the
doesn't like
Ode
an
to
Ode to
Joy.
Joy?
I know.
Doesn't like
Ah.
Beethoven. Come on.
What's the line? It was, oh yeah, how could it be any more obvious? How about fucking Beethoven? Side 1, track 1 of the 5th Symphony.
Yeah.
That's the best line from High Fidelity, that is.
So yeah, it won't be a die-hard movie, but it'll probably just be a nice dumb action movie. And considering the fact that it'll be coming out around about time, there'll be nothing but chick flicks on. It might be like something.
It comes out on Valentine's Day.
Perfect.
That's pretty badass. I like that. That kind of reminds me of how the original Die Hard came out.
But you know what?
We see.
The last action movie that came out on Valentine's Day was last year, and it was This Means War.
Fuck that movie.
Yeah, but that was a romantic action
And
film.
and
That
also
was-
fuck that movie.
Yep.
But also, now we'll get to see who has the power.
Oh wait, that movie came out
Yeah,
this
it came
year.
out this year.
Crap.
But
Yeah, it
now
came
we'll
out
see
this
who
year.
has the power.
Okay,
So I
there's
think you
my
do have
worst film of
a
the year.
worst of list already in the works there, Kevin. But yeah, so, alright, that was trailer talk, everybody. So we're going to take a short little break. And then we're going to come back and talk about
Treasure
the
Planet.
The Doctor on Treasure Planet.
Well, that was an
I'm
amazing
going to keep
episode,
running with
wasn't
that
it?
joke.
It's like Faulty Towers with monsters.
It is.
It's my awful TARDIS noise, everybody. We're in for the Doctor Who special now. Everyone sitting comfortably.
Yes, let's all do a nice little a cappella entry of the Doctor Who music. Boom, 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 boom. Alright.
We're doing like 7 different themes.
I might not like Matt Smith as much as everybody else, but that's a badass song that keeps
that
playing
now.
whenever he's up to something. Alright, welcome back to the film movie Pupcast. Name's still in the works. I like Pupcast. We gotta keep that in there somewhere. But yeah, welcome back to
everything.
Cast of Pups.
Cast of Pups. Alright. Welcome back to the Pupcast, and today our topic of discussion is something that has been around. It's one of the longest running television shows of all time. It's become a cultural phenomenon across Europe and now here in the States, and that is Doctor Who.
Who?
I don't know what I was expecting anyone else to add to that, but alright, fine. Let's start off. A lot of people might be wondering what Doctor Who is all about. God damn it! I'm trying not to make bad puns involving the word "who." I keep thinking of them. And I have
So
to stop
who
myself.
is he? So what is Doctor Who's deal? What does
Doctor what?
Doctor what? So yes, Doctor Who, British time traveling, really weird, terrible effects. Became.
But that's part of the charm of it. Doctor
yeah.
Who started off back in it was the 60s, right? Back when it started?
Yes, 60s, and it was part of the BBC's new initiative to inform, entertain, and something else I don't remember.
Educate.
So that's why it was all educate. That was
Yeah,
it.
it was actually an educational show when it started off,
Yeah.
because, they would stop, every now and again and
Do a
just
model.
look back and go, let's take a look at Abraham Lincoln doing a speech.
Yeah.
And that would be it. They would just watch an actor reenacting Abraham Lincoln.
Weren't the
'Cause
two
show...
weren't the two companions that were at the very beginning? Weren't they both teachers?
Yes.
Ooh. But yeah, the show was about a time traveler named the Doctor, and he was part of this ancient race of aliens called the Time Lords, who basically are immortal, and they have mastery of time and space because they have these machines called TARDISes. which allow them to travel through time. And the Doctor looks like a 1950s British police box because it's supposed to change shape and size to match whatever his surroundings are whenever he travels to it. But his is broken, so his looks like whatever it first looked like, so a 1950s police box. But it's much larger on the inside. It's like a fully functioning spaceship.
It's another
multiple
dimension.
Rooms. Huh? Yes, it's its own dimension. And so he goes through time, just going on adventures, and he picks up random people and basically says, you know what, traveling by myself is lonely. I'm going to grab someone else and, ask them to come along with me, and those have been his companions, which is the term that has always been used for them.
That's how you know it's a show from the 60s, because people still refer to them as companions.
Companions, yes. Companions, his roommate. But yeah, and the show, it's one of those shows that touches on a lot of, it pulls a lot of heartstrings, I'd say, because the best way that I can describe the appeal of Doctor Who is that, all those kiddie shows that you watched when you were so young, and they were all about, people are great, aren't they? We're all just wonderful things, and, the power of friendship conquers all. Imagine that, but if they remade that stuff for adults. Because Doctor Who is constantly, he can go anywhere in space and time, but he keeps coming back to Earth because Earthlings are just so fascinating. They're traveling around space and they don't know what the hell they're doing, but it's so fun, and they somehow manage to always get stuff done. Doctor Who, to me, he's always about friendship and love and happiness, but he's still a badass at the same time.
Did you even watch the finale? I don't know what you're talking about anymore.
That's why I fucking hate that final episode. The final episode is just, that finale is just takes all that and just throws it away.
So, basically...
the Doctor is too happy. We need to make things sad and miserable.
We'll get to the finale, but, I thought it was an okay final episode, but the more I think about it, the more I go, that's total bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get back to that.
So,
but
can I just...
the other big thing about Doctor Who that everybody should know is that if you try and look up Doctor Who, you might see some guy with a big multicolored scarf, you might see some guy with a piece of celery attached to his blazer, you might see Matt Smith, and you might wonder, well, who the hell is actually the real Doctor Who? They're all the same character. Because what happens is that when the Doctor first appeared, he was played by a very old actor who, after a few seasons, basically decided, you know what, I'm done. And not done with Doctor Who, I'm done with acting. I don't want to do this anymore. And so they went, well, what the hell are we supposed to do? We can't just hire someone new unless, wait a minute, he's an alien. Maybe whenever the Doctor's about to die, he regenerates and takes a different form with different personalities and different traits. So there have been 11 different Doctors throughout the history of Doctor Who. And each of them have their own little different distinctions between them, but they all kind of remain true to that hope and that, that love of people, and, that feel that everything is important.
But most importantly, in 2005, because it was always seen as an old show, it came back with a new version by Rusty Davies, which made it very different, yet it still kept that heart of friendship and all that, but made it very real about people from Earth again, rather than about... Because it became a bit alien-y towards the end, and it brought that back to Earth. And that's really what we're going to be talking about, because that's what we've seen.
Exactly. We are aware of the previous Doctor Who's, but the 2005 and onward, the reboot that... It wasn't an actual reboot, because reboots you go back and completely restart. This was, he came in with a brand new Doctor, and... For a while, so many people thought that it was a reboot, that it was this is a totally new thing. But then there came an episode in which he goes to a museum and he sees one of his old enemies in a little case, like the helmet of an old Cyberman in a case. And then he meets one of the old Daleks in there. And I think that was the moment that fans kind of lost their mind, because they all went, oh my god, it's all still canon.
No,
the stuff I love is still there.
It was in episode 1 he's regenerated because he's like, oh, shame about the ears, and then in episode 2 he does that thing after that really big episode in the end of the world. He takes Rose to a random street and it's just like, all my family is dead. Everyone I know is dead. And it's one of the and that was the moment I was just like, oh shit.
Yeah, they totally changed. That is such a weird point to start the Doctor off with. The 2005 Doctor Who, like I mentioned, Doctor Who was a part of this race of aliens called Time Lords. And for years, the Time Lords had been at war with another alien race called the Daleks, which are these things that believe that all life, aside from Daleks, is imperfect, and they want to eliminate, exterminate it all. And so they've been at war with them forever. And when Doctor Who came back, it starts off with the Doctor saying that he's the last of the Time Lords because there was a huge war, and he himself realized the only way he can stop this madness is to kill all the Daleks and Time Lords at the same time. And that, I mean, so it starts off with the Doctor in a very weird spot, because, I mean, he just came from war, and he's now the last of his kind. Which is something that they have kept throughout the entire, throughout this new run of it.
Yeah. Before we just summarise the whole thing, let's just get on to the questions.
Yeah.
Ask them, Squire.
Oh, well, I thought we were going to do, well, you know what, you want to save our summary of the most recent season for the end, then?
Oh,
Yeah, actually, you know what?
Yeah, all right.
Let's do that. Let's do that, because then we can finish by talking about the finale, which I think will give us a big discussion.
Yep, carry on.
Alright, so, yeah, I'm just going to start. We've got me, Jackson, Kevin, Callum, Michelle. All of us, you know, are fans of the show to different degrees. Like, I've seen all of the reboot stuff. Callum mentioned that he only occasionally catches it, but he enjoys it when he watches it. Michelle has only seen since the most recent Doctor, Matt Smith.
Poor girl.
So, we all have different little answers to these questions. So, I'm just going to start by saying, what is everybody's favorite Doctor?
9.
10.
That is...
Yeah, I have to say 10. I mean, he's very iconic, so it's like...
He's iconic. To me, it's kind of a draw between those two, because to me, 9 is my favorite Doctor. Christopher Eccleston is my personal favorite Doctor, but I think 10 did the best job of portraying the Doctor. That's my favorite incarnation of the Doctor, but that I think is the best incarnation of the Doctor, but my personal favorite is Eccleston, because to me, David Tennant, number 10, he had that kind of like that sense of wonder. Like, I mean, there's a moment where they're being chased by a werewolf, and they're like, "We gotta get out of here, or else it's gonna kill us." And he just goes, "Yeah, but werewolf, this is awesome." I mean, that to me, he had, but he also, while having that wonder, he also had that sense of rage that this new Doctor had. He still had like the memories of war there in his mind.
The theory of a Time Lord.
Yeah, there was that great episode where there are these people that are chasing him across time and space, and then eventually the Doctor has to confront them, and it ends with one of those people that had been chasing him kind of saying, "I understand why he ran. It was to protect us." Because it lists off all the ways that the Doctor disposes of them, like
It's the harshest thing in all of time. He fucking traps one of them in a mirror.
Yeah, and he says, "You might see her anytime that you look into a mirror, and you're trapped in there forever." But to me, 9 was my personal favorite, because 9 to me was the Doctor who just didn't have time for your bullshit.
No,
I mean, there's that great episode where the Doctor is being held captive by Simon Pegg, who has basically enslaved all of mankind to have their brains sucked out slowly by this parasite creature. And Simon Pegg goes, "Listen, Doctor, let me ask you a question. Are people really slaves if they don't know they're slaves?"
Yes.
Yes. Oh, is that your answer? I thought we were going to have a philosophical discussion. Yes. Or there's that episode where he was trapped on this reality show in the future where if you leave, you die. And he just went, "All right, I'm getting out of here, but you'll die if you go out the door. Whatever, I don't care."
He's just like,
Doctor Who has no time for your Big Brother bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Doctor doesn't have time for your bullshit.
well, if I can't escape, there's the only way of finding out, then fuck it, I'm leaving.
Yes, that is why I love 9 so much. That and also the Doctor Dances is my favorite Doctor Who episode. Just because, for 2 reasons. One, it showed like the Doctor finally saving everybody, which, I mean, it's so great whenever that happens, because so often in a Doctor Who episode, someone will die. It could be a Triceratops, or it could be, like, you know, an actual human being.
It's generally whatever guest character they've got in that week.
Exactly. It's generally whoever the guest star is that week ends up dying, but this one he saves everybody, and he has that sense of wonder to him when he says, "This time, nobody dies."
Everybody lives!
But also, all the stuff with the banana just cracked me up so much in that episode. For anybody who didn't see it, there's a character there who has Captain Jack, who has a gun, has a weapon that has been outlawed because it's so dangerous, And the doctor says, yes, I visited the factory that made them once. He says, yeah, it's a shame it no longer exists. I know, I said, I visited there once. It's a banana grove now. I like bananas. Bananas are good. Yeah, that to me, it's like, it's so badass. But yeah, so why is it that you guys like 10 so much, Kevin?
I just think at the one point where it just became Christopher Eccleston was too much of a sourpuss for me. Like he was too, like I liked it when he was like excited about this smallest mundane thing, but then he just became like it seemed like he was suffering from PTSD.
Yeah, kind of. That was his character. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the thing that I liked about David Tennant was that he still had that complete excitement for the most mundane thing, like a piece of graphite that was floating around. Like he thinks that's the coolest thing ever. Yeah, and I think I think David Tennant's a great actor, and I think he goes from moment to moment. Like one moment he'll be angry, one moment he'll be like laughing, and then the next moment he'll be sad, and he switches that back and forth perfectly. Like you always assume and you always believe that he's the same person. He is the Doctor, and you never think that he's like bipolar or anything like that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that. That's why I say that even though Christopher Eccleston is my personal favorite, I think David Tennant captured the Doctor the best.
I just love some of the mannerisms that David Tennant has. He's a charming man.
He is so charming, yes.
The bit in his first episode where he's like going out to these aliens, he's like, there's more to do than can ever be done. There's more hang on, that's the Lion King.
Yeah, and then after he regenerates, he's like, am I ginger?
Oh, I want it to be ginger.
New teeth, I'll have to get used to that.
Barcelona.
But yeah, and also, let me throw this out there. David Tennant fought Satan. How crazy is that?
That's pretty crazy.
He fights the Satan, and all he says when he confronts him is, so which Satan are you? Like, which religion? Judaism? Christianity? Like, I love that is his attitude when he faces something like that.
He's just like, okay, now I get to ask this question. Seriously, which one was right? And then he's just like, all of them. It's like, not really happy with that. Are you sure? Do you want to try again? Yeah.
And I always love it when, like, Alonzi was, I don't know. Alonzi, I still love Alonzi.
Alonzi, yeah, each of the Doctors have, like, their own catchphrase. There was Fantastic, Alonzi, and Geronimo. Which, yeah, Alonzi I like the most.
And I always liked it when
What's your
David
name?
Tennant went, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
All
And
the
he also
time, it
had
just
brilliant-
gets me.
Yeah. I just love it. I just love that his life goal is to find someone named Alonzo.
And he does!
So that he does! So he could say Alonzi, Alonzo.
That's why Voyage of the Damned's so good.
That was such a good episode.
Oh,
I mean, that Christmas episode ended with a space Titanic flying over the Queen. That is, to me, is what the Doctor... That's the kind of weird adventures the Doctor's supposed to go on.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so... Let's, anybody else have anything they want to add about their favorite Doctors?
There's one thing I do like, I still like Matt Smith. I think Matt Smith is
Yeah,
a
we
good
shouldn't
Doctor.
totally ignore Matt Smith, yeah.
Like, the one thing I like the most about Matt Smith is that, like, this was something I found, like, specifically in Season 6, was that he would look young and old at the same time. And I don't know how they do it, or he does it, but it's just a marvelous trick. I don't know.
Yeah, and I like whenever Matt Smith acts young, but I also like whenever he acts kind of like a jerk. At the same time, like, I love when he's fixing something and his companions are having a secret little discussion about him, and then he just pops his head down. I'm doing something fantastic up here, and there's no one to tell me how brilliant I am.
Yeah, he's still like a curmudgeoned old man, basically.
Yeah, he's a curmudgeon, but with a childlike spirit. Like, I didn't really like the dinosaur episode that they just did, but I did love the fact when Rory's dad said, you can put that on your Christmas list. Dad, I'm 30 years old. I don't have a Christmas list anymore. I do!
I like the bit in that episode where he's all like, how dare you bring your dad along? You materialised around us. Oh, that's right. Hello, Brian.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I like Matt Smith. I think he's good. It's, there's... Matt Smith is not my problem with the most recent Doctor episode, so...
The one issue I do have with Matt Smith is that he doesn't have gravitas. like
No.
Eccleston and David Tennant.
There's that, yeah. He does not have that much of a presence.
He is okay. I found the script really weak because Moffat himself says he doesn't like themes, which is like, fuck you, you're not a writer then.
Jesus.
Which is weird because I do like the themes that are in like the Moffat series.
How can you consider
He says
yourself
that
a
any-
writer if you think themes are a waste of time?
He says, I don't write themes, I write stories. And I'm like, well...
themes are part of stories.
Yeah, shut up. I know.
There
There's
are
a
things
reason
he doesn't
why
even know.
when
Like
the other...
there's the theme of waiting and forgetting, like two common themes that are in Moffat's David Tennant or Moffat's Doctor Who.
Yeah,
but
and I mean, I didn't know that he had said that, but that now explains one of the reasons why I did not like when Rory and Amy left so much.
Yeah, because it wasn't...
Thinking back to those other three companions before them, and when they left, they were epic and had stories leading through up that. When Amy and Rory left, literally the episode before that, they go, "Nothing can stop us. Next week on the Doctor, something stops them."
And it wasn't even like tragic. It wasn't like, it wasn't like the fact that nothing could stop them made the leaving far more powerful. Anyway, we'll probably talk. Should we just get that out of the way now?
Yeah, let's go on to who our favorite companions are. Let's talk about that.
Donna, done. Win.
I'm going to throw out there one that I know you will say, Mickey the Idiot.
Hell yeah, Mickey!
I love Mickey the Idiot because, I mean, Mickey
Mickey.
to me is a lot like Roy in that he was a wimp who eventually turned into a badass, except that Mickey had his girl leave him for the Doctor, and he went, well, fuck that, I'm going to be my own man. I mean, I absolutely love the episode where K9 shows back up, and he eventually goes, am I the tin dog? And eventually he decides, screw it, I am scared, but I'm not going to be a tin dog. I'm going to go out there. Plus, I love that Mickey was like a hacker who was helping. I love that he was like Doctor Who's IT support before he became a companion.
Yeah, in that missing year where he found out everything about the Doctor, he was like, no, check it out, I have got this on you. And you're like,
Yeah,
Mickey is no fucking idiot.
Yeah, exactly. Mickey found his nuts in that year. He became a man in that year. And I love seeing that. I love seeing Rory go from being a wuss to being a man, but with that, I was more like, I'm going to be a man because I love Amy so much. This was like, my girlfriend dumped me. Fuck this. I'm going to be a man, and I'm going to go out there and kick ass.
Everything changed for Mickey once he got eaten by a garbage bin.
Yes. But yeah,
So I just saw so
we'll talk more
ridiculous
about
out of context there. Just Mickey when he was eaten by a garbage bin.
And that was only
everything on Doctor Who is ridiculous when taken out of context.
And think about it, that was only 25 minutes into the first episode. We were already introducing concepts like, yeah, he got eaten by a garbage bin and got turned into a plastic man.
Yes. I can almost guarantee somebody else has to say Donna, so we'll get back to Donna in a second, but anybody else want to throw someone out? Yeah, who's everybody else's favorite?
I like Jim Hawkins. My favorite episode was when we went to Treasure Planet.
God damn it.
Aaron, are you a fan of all these constant Treasure Planet references? Are you finding them that they actually get funnier the more that they're said? I think they're getting funnier every time. They're never losing their impact.
I can't stop laughing.
Alright, Calvin needs time to breathe. Calvin, what was your favorite companion?
I know she's not really a official companion, but I really like River Song. I know they sort of went overboard with the whole who is River Song, but I still really like River Song.
I really love the idea behind River Song, but yeah, once again, it's kind of like
their whole romance, how they're going in opposite directions, is completely tragic.
I like that too. But just like how much
except that they just kind of don't they just kind of stop that? I mean, now they are. I mean, now they're no longer going in opposite directions.
She's getting more and more I think closer to the time where she dies, where she goes to the library. Because in that last episode, she says she's Professor.
We've already seen her first the first time that she ever meets the Doctor was with Let's Kill Hitler.
Well,
So yeah, they did that, and now I don't know if it's going in any particular order anymore.
Well, no, but she said she's almost a professor, so she's getting older. So like, there were points where it was backwards, and then sometimes it's forwards. It's basically whatever Moffat wants it to be at any
I was going
point.
to say, 'cause this whole timeline
Yeah,
seems weird. It's like, how much longer to make
Remember,
it?
he doesn't like themes, and that includes consistency.
Yeah, basically, and I thought that the finale completely destroyed River's character 100% and made her fucking abysmal. And it was all because of that one scene with the wrist. And it was like she was introduced as basically an equal, or even something in that situation because she had knowledge he didn't. She was introduced as a superior and equal to the Doctor. And then in this episode, she's like, "Oh, break your own wrist if he shouts at you. Never let him see you hurt." And you're like, "Fuck you! That is an abusive relationship."
Well,
If
she's
we're like
she's
that.
still human. That's the thing. And she will get older, and she will die.
Yeah, but she doesn't have to hide that. That scene really bothered me.
But it's still part of the whole thing that they were saying in the episodes that the Doctor hates endings. So seeing people get hurt means closer and closer that it means that more companions will start leaving. Because that's when it gets serious, that's when companions leave.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, so River Song, Calvin and Michelle, you guys have both pretty much only seen Amy and Rory.
No, I've seen
but...
the episodes from, like, ever since it came back in, like, intermittent things, so...
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of not sure what to say here, because I imagine if I say the wrong thing, you'll all dogpile. Like, for example, I would say Rose. I'm sure some people would dogpile with me about how apparently she was awful when she returned, or whatever. Well, yeah.
I like Rose.
I liked Rose, then it then became all about Rose. And that's what
What's
I had
everyone's
problems
opinion
with.
on Martha?
She's a great character, terrible actress.
She's pretty.
I love the idea behind her, but once again, I think they kind of like screwed her up a little bit. They didn't screw her up, but they didn't use her enough in the right way, because I love the idea that the Doctor has an actual doctor as a companion. They should have done a lot with that. Like, they've done a lot with Rory being a nurse. I'm
going to take a guess at introduced her as a doctor, and
do...
then kind of forgot that she was a doctor for just about the entire run.
Yeah, exactly. Like, to me, they should have had her being a doctor on that show. I mean, the only time which I actually saw her be a doctor is when she had to restart the Doctor's hearts.
The only time I saw her be a doctor was when
really...
she popped up for 3 episodes on Torchwood, which I don't think counts, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't count it. So I'm also going to throw this out. I really like Idris.
Idris?
The TARDIS in the game.
Oh,
episode.
yeah, the TARDIS is great. The TARDIS is either the TARDIS or Brian is the best character from the new series.
Wilf. We're forgetting Wilf.
Oh, no, we're not forgetting. I meant new series. I will never forget Wilf.
Yeah.
Wilf was so good. I just love the idea that, I mean, David Tennant kind of summed it up in which he said, I've had, monsters and aliens and Time Lords chase after me, and yet you, an old guy, is the one who actually found me.
And then he's like, I was just waiting for you. And he's like, no, you don't understand. You found me, Wilf. You have no idea how impressive that is. Oh, dude, the Wilf, that is heartbreaking. The Wilf thing is unbelievably
I tolerate the Donna stuff just because there's Wilf there. Like, at the end of the season 4, like, when Donna got... Like, I thought it was sort of tragic what happened to Donna, but I still didn't really care. But then it was, like, Wilf saying, I'll still look up into the sky every single night for you. That just broke my heart.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah, and I really liked Donna, because Donna to me changed the most out of, aside from Mickey and Rory, I'd say Donna changed the most out of any of the companions. Like, she started off as just being kind of like this, this go nowhere, tired of life, like a lot of the companions are, but I mean, also
she was Catherine Tate, essentially.
She started off as an annoying person.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
before this friend left you, did she punch you in the face?
Yeah, but I mean, it was like her entire backstory was I'm in my wedding dress. It was basically just her complaining constantly. But she actually went out there and found the Doctor. Like, she actually like all these other people
she was
just
waiting
kind of
for
ran
him.
into him. She ran into him, said, "No, I don't want to go with you." But then she returned to normal life and went, "Oh, fuck, I should have taken that chance." And so she actually went out there and found the Doctor. I love that about her.
And when they meet again, that one scene.
Oh, that's so good.
Genius.
That's such a good scene.
I just want to say one more thing about Wilf before we forget about him.
Yeah,
I would
I
never
love the
forget
scene.
about Will.
What were we saying?
he said, "I will never forget Wilf."
Yeah. It's the scene in I think the End of Time, the special, where Wilf is like trying to convince the doctor to take the gun to save his own life.
Oh,
That
yeah.
entire scene where it's just like back and forth, back and forth. No, he's like, you have to do this, you have to kill him. And he's like, no, I can't. That entire scene is absolutely brilliant and just completely like pulls at the heartstrings.
And then the moment he hears who it is, and he just rips that gun.
Yeah. He just
Yeah,
finds out
dude.
that it's a Brazilian.
And he's
like,
like,
okay,
well,
give me the gun.
fuck this.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, so good.
Although I did have one small problem with that episode and the gun, in that it kept like, oh, is the doctor going to kill him? Is the doctor going to kill him? And then he goes, move, and shoots the device. And I thought, wait, was that an option the entire time? Shouldn't you have just have done that from the start? Like, why were you even, like, contemplating all the other options?
Drama.
Yes, I know drama, but yeah. But yeah, so back to Donna, yeah. I love that she actually sought the doctor out, and that she does change, she does mature, she does grow up under the doctor, and she evolves into something far greater than herself, but she couldn't be allowed it. It had to be taken from her. And that is what is so tragic, that after growing so much, she goes right back to point zero.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. That
It
scene
is
with
so
her
heartbreaking.
just talking about some celebrity magazine is just like, no, you no.
It is probably the cruelest companion dispatch ever.
It's,
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, I'm trying to think, like, Martha, I like Martha because Martha's the only companion who actually went, you know what, I'm good. I'm done. I've seen enough.
And even the farewell with Rose was like really sad until they
farewell with
completely
Rose was very
retconned that
sad.
thing.
Yeah,
And ruined it.
Yeah. But even, yeah, and honestly, I didn't feel squat for the Pawns when they left simply because, well, I mean, I felt a little bit, but it was more of just like,
No more Rory.
we'll get into it. But, yeah, so I would say either Rose or Donna, but, yeah, between those two, I gotta go with Donna being the sadder one.
Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watching
I
the
cried.
episode Silence in the Library is quite sad now.
Oh, yes.
Especially what happens with River.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll start with, alright, so next up, favorite either monster, alien race, enemy, favorite X category, favorite thing that the Doctor has had to go up against.
I really like. I know this is actually in the newer series, but I really did like when he went up against himself, evil version of himself.
The
in
Ganger version.
No, in the Dream Lord.
Oh, the Dream Lord.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I really want to see the Dream Lord reappear.
Same.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot you could do with that.
Because because I was like, that's clearly him, and it was really well handled, and it was just like
And it was Toby
deriding
Jones,
everyone.
who's awesome.
Toby Jones is great.
Oh, Toby Jones is great. Let's see. For me, it is a real close race between the Cybermen and the Master. But
The Cybermen?
Isn't that what it is?
I-
I thought that's what it was. I thought it was
Cyber.
CYBA men.
No, what? No, Cybermen.
Oh, Cybermen. All right.
Yeah, just Cybermen.
Cybermen.
I thought you were just like talking that weird accent where you replace the A's with ERs and the ERs with the A's. Like, hey, you want to go get a soda?
A soda?
It's
What
Cyberman.
accent is that?
I don't know. It's like I had a teacher
Soda?
in like high school that talked like that. I'm like, really? What
Soda?
the fuck is wrong with you? It was like Canada.
I had a science teacher who said compound instead of compound.
Okay, there's no excuse on that.
Well, okay, fine. It's a close call between the Master and the Cybermen. But yeah, I think I have to go with the Cybermen because as cool as the Master's return was, and how much I fucking love that moment when he returns, the Cybermen to me are so creepy because they want to turn you into them. I mean that moment in which that scene in which the woman is being turned into them and she keeps saying I did all for Queen and Country, for Queen and Country. That was so creepy to me.
Yeah.
Who's next?
I really liked the Weeping Angels until they...
Well,
ruined
until the end of Blink.
The episode where they're introduced, that is a great horror episode. That is freaky. That is a great horror episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was
Also, it's got some really unintentional dark sides to what the Doctor does in that episode. Because the way that he's got a time machine and he and Martha get out okay, but to allow him to get out okay, he has to have this other person live their entire life devoted to making those DVD extras.
Yes.
If you think about that, that is fucking cold.
That's pretty cold. But yeah,
I really like the aliens or the robots in the girl at the fireplace, or girl in the fireplace. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah, I just like the aesthetic design of them.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember that one.
It was the one where with France and Madame de Pompadour and all that shit.
Oh yeah.
I like the design of all those guys. They're cool. Another
Yeah, nice
Moffat
little-
episode. That
Yeah,
episode's really good.
But yeah, going back to the Weeping Angels, to me, the reason why they worked the best in their first appearance is because, we mentioned this on a previous episode, I think, is that they didn't move. You didn't see them move or anything. But also, there was, very little explanation. You just understood what they were, and that was it. But, in previous episodes, they've given more explanation to them. You have actually heard their voice. And it kind of takes away from them when you
The mystery is what makes it work.
When the mystery's gone, when you can actually place characteristics on them, it's kind of like the Slender Man almost. I don't know if you guys have that in Canada and Britain, but
No, it's an internet thing. We all know Slender Man.
yeah, exactly. It's like I was watching two people play through the video game Slender, and they were saying, "Do you think that they should actually turn Slender Man into a movie?" And they said no, because that would ruin it. Because then you get his origin story, his backstory, characteristics. It's I thought that's kind of what Moffat did with the Angels after their first appearance. When you gave more explanation to them, they weren't as frightening to me anymore.
The way I see it is for some reason it's if you can see the strings, the metaphorical strings, they're scary and blurry, but if you can see but if you see the metaphorical strings, or if you can physically see them move, or if you can find out more about them, the more it takes away from the show.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's right.
Yeah.
All right. But
I think the Vashta Narada are the most cost-effective Doctor Who villain.
Oh, who are they?
The Shadows.
Oh,
In the library
episode.
in the library episode. Yeah.
Actually, I
They're
think
the most cost-effective because there's
No,
nothing.
the enemy from Midnight is the most cost effective.
Oh.
I think his dog just went crazy.
Yeah, was that your dog, or were you talking to somebody?
Were you fighting one of the evil aliens we were mentioning, or?
Has the creature from Midnight knocked on your door or something?
Hello?
Hello?
Sorry about that, it's cats.
Oh,
Cats, okay. Understandable.
Yeah.
They love to get on keyboards.
This
No,
is the
it's
Pupcast,
not
not the
nice.
Catcast.
So they keep wanting to come back in, even though it's late,
Yeah.
and all they want to do is just sit and beg for food forever.
No.
Sometimes you just have to say no.
Yes. But yeah, alright, Michelle, Callum, you guys got a favorite opponent, antagonist, I guess?
I can talk on yours, because the first time that I saw the Cybermen was in that two-parter, the first two-parter it came out, that cliffhanger where they're all surrounded, and the first time it puts off there. Yeah, and then, because I remember what I sort of caught that, and then I caught the second episode, because that was one of those things of this two-part, I'm going to sit down and check out what's happened. They even showed a previous on leading up to that part. So the credits finished, and I remember as soon as the credits finished, the cliffhanger was resolved because the Doctor just raises the sonic screwdriver, fires it, and then runs away. For some reason that always sticks out in my mind. I think even at the time I sort of thought that as a bit of, okay, that's an anticlimax, alright. You made me wait a week for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also...
Yeah, I watched it on Netflix back to back,
Yeah.
so it wasn't like I had to wait.
Yeah, but also apparently it was even the first actual cliffhanger. That's something where the Doctor Matt was in danger since it came back apparently, and then
No, it was the episode with the Doctor dances and then all the children
that
and
was it.
people.
Well, I
were
remember
coming
reading-
up
well, I
to them.
remember
And then he
reading
just
somewhere.
stops them by saying,
Yeah.
"Go to
I
your
love
room."
another reason why I love Christopher Eccleston. He has the power of a god, and I just told him to go to his room.
yeah, there's that, and then also the Master, and this is especially notable because we had to study this a section of it for our media studies exam in the UK.
Fun.
It's that. I remember watching it, the first two episodes of the trilogy, because it's technically a trilogy of episodes of Master, when we're bringing back, building up as this big villain, this huge pants unstoppable thing, and then the third one, they do that again, and then, because this is the second one we had to watch over and over, in the end, the Master's basically brought down thanks to magic. like this entire time it's brought up as this big.
I do.
Yeah, it's this big
the
evil
ending
villain.
of season 3.
Yeah, it's this big evil villain that can't
The
be
ending of
defeated.
season 3 is
yeah,
weak.
as this big evil villain that can't be defeated, and then magic solves it. I think, and it was like, it's not noticeable at first, but then because we had to watch the segment like 5 times anyway, because that's how media studies exams work, it then became noticeable, yeah, okay, this was an ending that was pulled out of their arse.
Is this the season
Yeah.
season
It's
3?
Peter Pan, I believe in fairies.
Yeah, the only end...
Well, I
so
mean, it's
bad.
kind of that's what the Doctor is. Like I said, it's about the human spirit and about
Oh, no,
hope.
I get
so
what he
to
was
me,
doing.
it was like the Master set up a device that allows basically his evil. This sounds almost like a Care Bears episode, but it's like the Doctor set up something that allows his evil intentions to spread throughout the world and basically make everybody succumb to him. But then Martha spreading hope through the name of the Doctor across the world caused everyone to have hope, and through his own machine was able to power up the Doctor. So, I mean, to me, it was kind of like saying, I mean, yeah, it does look like magic.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deny it.
Well,
But, I mean, it was basically like saying, yeah, hope wins out in the end, which is kind of...
we'll know there is it felt like a massive anti-climax there, and especially like I've just sat here talking about it, it reminded me of the ending of Buffy season 3, when of course you have the mayor built up as this massive unstoppable juggernaut who's then built up.
Oi!
Yeah.
Oi!
What?
Oi! I haven't seen Buffy season 3.
Well, Bob. Bad things happen.
Well, look forward to the mayor being a puss.
Yeah.
Treasure Planet.
Yeah, I will not have that after that. The section when he refuses to regenerate is that's
that I liked.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude, that's
that
so
saves
cold.
the entire section there. But yeah,
Yeah, you have to admit that was a good.
I do, and because the ending of that season, it felt like an arse pull, but it clearly wasn't an arse pull, because obviously when he was writing that is what Russell T Davies wanted to do. He wanted to show that the Master has a weapon to control fear, but you can backfire that with hope and all that shit. And then that one moment where he obviously refuses to regenerate, I was crying like a bitch in that episode, because Jesus Christ.
And then
That
they
was
ruin
cold.
that scene because they bring back the magic, Master with magic.
I
Yeah,
haven't. I don't know if I told you.
don't
but
understand that.
I had an idea for season 5, for an alternate season 5 in my head that would have explained all that and made it actually mean something. Why you'd be able to bring him back with magic?
go on.
It's clearly because the beat in his head was the Time Lords making him have to exist.
Yeah.
Then he has to always be alive, because that beat always has to exist, so you can easily bring him back, because the Master has to be alive. And then you would deal with the fallout of the Master realising he's just a pointless individual who doesn't exist for anything but someone else's will, which makes him an even more powerful villain, and there would be a whole episode of whole season of mind games. But they didn't hire me.
Can't imagine why.
You can always write fan fiction.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Despite that, I did like. I think the main reason I like Masters is because I really like John Sims' absolute 100% go for broke ham and cheese performance. Up until that last bit of it, so just like the way that essentially when he's on screen, he seems desperate. He seems like he desperately just wants to eat as much scenery as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Because of the gas.
But especially for the sequence at the end, when he brings Martha in front of him, and he says things like Neil, and then just like the ridiculously tiny way says 200,000 ships, which is just I do for some reason I like my villains like that, imposing, but at the same time hammy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, John Sims really good,
John Sims
especially when he's
fantastic.
singing that song.
I get the sun. Yep.
John Sims fantastic in
Agreed.
most everything though.
True that.
Have you
Michelle,
Americans
you
watched
got-
Life on Mars?
We had it, but it was only on air for a little bit.
No, I mean the British one,
Do you
not the
mean- do you
American
mean-
one, not the rubbish
Yeah.
American one.
Sorry.
I love
Not
the
one with
end.
Harvey
The
Keitel.
ending for the American version is insane.
It's one of the most retarded things in the world. It's hilarious.
Michelle, you got a favorite antagonist?
I like the Siren or Cyberman.
Yeah. All right.
That's surprising, because over here people were really just like, Cybermen was such a letdown. No one's really got fond memories for the Cybermen, so that is actually really surprising that you're both big Cybermen people.
Yeah. That,
I don't know if it's that American thing or just.
I don't know. Our fear of technology. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it is because the Cybermen to me it is just that idea that you turn into them. They
Loss of
don't take
personality.
you. Yeah, exactly. They take everything out of you and just leave you a shell that would just data in your mind.
It's a terrifying concept. What
But yeah,
Star,
it's like,
Star
I can
Trek
understand.
first
But
contact?
I'm shocked nobody said the Daleks. But
Well,
I just think that'd be like too
Overused.
obvious, I guess, or just.
also they
Plus, I think,
lost their impact.
I think even when Moffat said, like, when he was retiring and that, but it's now gotten to the point where instead of fearing them, it's that sort of, oh, here they are, now they're going to lose. Because because they're brought back so often and so frequently, like, it's kind of a point that they're not really that scary anymore.
I absolutely agree with that because, I mean, when the first time when they show back up and it's like, oh, guess what, we escaped and we survived, it was a big thing. Then all of a sudden they find a way to escape and survive that. And then they find a way to escape and survive that. And then it just kind of becomes like, it's... In comic books, it's called the Venom syndrome.
I see like a Benny Hill chase.
In comic books, it's called the Venom syndrome. It's when you have a really badass villain, and because it's so badass, everybody wants to see him. But because they're the villain, they're not allowed to live, so they're not allowed to win. So basically, what you did is you took a really badass villain and you just turned them into the guy that keeps showing up just to get his ass kicked over and over again.
I'd like to note, this is why Moriarty works in the Sherlock Holmes books. Because he appears twice, and that's it. Which means he never got a chance to have that whole villain decay sort of thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a tangent. You can go.
But I would like to say that even though there is big diminishing returns on the Daleks, I think if they had cut out the season 3 appearance of the Daleks, they would have actually been fairly well handled because they appeared twice in season 1, once really surprisingly at the end of series 2. And season 3 was the pointless one, but when they appeared in the end of series 4, you were like, it is on.
Oh, I love them at the end of season 4.
I'm sorry, but we're dead.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite side of that. I just think Davies ran the Daleks into the ground. It's like, oh, here's the big catastrophe, and who's behind it? The Daleks.
But at least he didn't do the iPod Daleks.
No, the Power Ranger Daleks. Come on.
In the papers up here, Matt, they kept referring to as iPod Daleks for some reason.
Why? It's not even witty.
Mm-hmm. Right, well, hey, it's a newspaper. It's a tabloid newspaper. What do you expect?
Stop reading the tabloid newspapers.
Oh, I don't anymore.
Okay, yeah. So next, yeah.
But yeah, all right. So yeah, last thing before we discuss the season, anybody have a favorite moment from the run of Doctor
I
Who?
have many.
Can we just sit and let Jackson
Someone
talk
else-
forever?
No, someone else go first.
All right, I'll go first. My favorite is when they're in the library, David Tennant, Don Noble, and basically there's this race of like living shadows in this. It's a planet that is nothing but a library, and nobody is on the planet, and they find out it's because they're like these living shadows that used to exist in the forest that got chopped down to be turned into the books, and they are taking people over, and like when they take them over, they basically just are these shadows inside of a space of the astronaut spacesuit. So it's basically like the Doctor being chased by a astronaut spacesuit with a skull inside. Very cheap effect, but effective. And then you have to stay in the light, and one by one, every single person in his party gets picked off until it's just him, and he says, listen, I can save all the people that got taken away by this. I can bring them back, and if you let me do this, then we'll leave, we'll give you this plant, it'll be all yours, you'll never have to see us again, just let me save these people. And they say, why on earth, and they say, why on earth should we, help you? And he says, oh, why should you do that? I'm the Doctor, we're in a library, look me up. And then the monster just pauses for like 5 seconds, and then goes, you have 5 minutes, and then falls, and then leaves. That is who the Doctor is. The Doctor can outsmart anybody, but he doesn't have to. But the Doctor is such a badass, but he never shows it.
Just
but I mean, the more you look at his
sends most
reputation,
monsters into absolute into
yeah, exactly. He doesn't have to prove he's a badass. He just has to tell them who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else got a favorite moment?
Yes, I do. When he brings Van Gogh to the present and shows him what a huge impact his paintings has on present day, because
tears
all
over my face.
Especially if you're an artist like me, you kind of feel like, oh, my artwork is shit. Like no one's gonna care about it. It's like, and then it's like, you don't realize how it's like it's you don't realize how important your work and dedication is, especially if you like put your heart and soul into it. It's like if you put your heart and soul into it, it's definitely going to make a huge impact. So just keep at it. It's
Yeah. Oh man, that one took everything out of me, man. Who's next?
I have
Kevin?
a few.
Go.
I really like the moment at the very end of Girl in the Fireplace, where the doctor shows up at the very last minute, and then he finds out that she had just passed away. It's just completely heartbreaking moment. I like the moment with Wilf and the doctor that I just mentioned before. I don't know. I really like the scene where in the Big Bang, where Rory's there, and he said, "So the universe just ended. That just happened." And then the doctor just shows up with a mop and a fez on his top of his head. It's like, okay, you have to do this, and this, and this, and this. It's
That
just
was a good
the
one.
look on Rory's face is just absolutely priceless. But I think one of my absolute favorite Doctor Who scenes is the Family of Blood, where the boy Latimer shows up with the fob watch, and he tries to give it to John Smith, the Doctor, and John Smith just doesn't want to be the Doctor because he likes what he is right now, and he likes the nurse. Sorry, and he's just like trying to fight in, and he's like absolutely terrified, and he's panicking, and he doesn't want to die, and it's mostly sold by David Tennant, but yeah, it's just like seeing David Tennant act in that scene and just him terrified of what his fate is going to be is just absolutely heartbreaking. And then like
It's
the very
so good.
Yeah.
and then the rest of the episode where they go forth in time, and then it's the boy after like World War One, how he saves his friend, and he's there
Oh, I
at the
forgot
ceremony,
that moment.
and then there's like the building of the music, and then the prayer for Remembrance Day, and then the boy that was back then, he's an old man in a wheelchair, and he looks over to the side and he sees Doctor and Martha putting on poppies. It's just absolutely heartbreaking,
I love
considering
that.
my grandfather was a veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Okay, so
Shall I go for Jackson?
oh, go, yeah, go.
Just quickly.
I'm going to see if anyone gets
Yeah,
of
okay.
the one best moment from the entire Doctor Who series.
Yeah, because I'm going to go for a rather like slightly obvious one, which was the one where the bit near the end before David Tennant regenerates into Matt Smith.
Oh yeah, that too.
Just like just incredible.
I don't want to go.
Like it.
That's it.
Yeah, that line. It's that line.
Yeah.
I mean, like you can be unmoved by the music, you can be unmoved by the long goodbyes and that, but it's just that one line and the perfect way that David Tennant delivers it.
Yeah. And
It just
I even
sets
like
you
the
off.
scene afterwards where Matt Smith is just bouncing around the TARDIS while it's crashing. It's just like the best intro.
Oh yeah.
for a new
Yeah, because he
Doctor.
was so
Yeah.
scared of what he might turn into. So the moment that he comes back and it's like, I'm still okay. I'm still the Doctor.
I still got
I'm not-
legs. Still got
Yes,
legs.
I still got
Not
legs.
ginger yet.
Yes.
And then his very last line is
That
like
was-
we're crashing, and
Yeah.
then it's Geronimo. And I was like,
Yeah, that is a good moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the David Tennant bit will be the best, and it just proves that he is amazing. And he is starring in a Christmas movie this year. Is this really the best use of David Tennant's talents?
No, he's gonna be on a new TV show where he's playing a spy in like the
Oh, is he?
1700s. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah.
I still don't
I didn't know
understand
that.
why David Tennant didn't carry the torch in the Olympics.
God, that's so.
I
That's,
wanted it so much. I was just sitting there going, come on,
Yeah.
do it. You have to.
Yeah.
I mean, the way they actually did the torch was genius, but come on.
I was just shocked that there was barely anything Doctor Who related.
Me
I
too.
know,
That
it's like you have
One
like,
TARDIS noise.
You have an army of Mary Poppins fighting off a giant Voldemort. Why wouldn't
With
you have
James
any?
Bond and
Because we're apparently still stuck in the 70s.
I don't know. Well, then Doctor Who would be still popular. It would be.
Yeah, Doctor Who has been popular for all that time. Come on, guys.
The girl
Yes,
in
but
the
not in America.
ceremony got transferred back in time. How is
Oh.
that not an easy way to get the TARDIS in there?
Yeah. Exactly. I thought of another moment that when you mentioned David Tennant about to leave. There's another moment that I really enjoy. It was like the special that they did right before that, the like Ghost of Mars or whatever it was, and it was basically David Tennant is there on this. It's like the first manned space station in Mars, and he realizes that because this history is a fixed event, the people on this station have to die. He can't affect it, because if he does, then
History will go different.
Then history will completely change, and he can't do that. So he has to walk away while these people are fending for their lives and they're about to die, and he doesn't know what to do, and he's just walking away while they're dying. And then all of a sudden he just goes, you know what, screw this, and he goes back and he gives this big speech about, I'm the last Time Lord, I decide what time it is. And still in the end it turns out that he was wrong and he can't change time. But
Well,
still,
he can, but it wasn't that he couldn't change it, but it was that whatever her name was decided that it was more important.
right.
It's a
that
great
was-
moment in a terrible episode.
That is, no.
It's not a bad episode. It's just, but it is a great moment, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, my favorite Doctor line of all time did belong to Matt Smith when someone said, I'm not important. He said, not important? Well, isn't that amazing? You know, in 900 years of living, I've never met anyone that wasn't important. That to me kind of sums up what Doctor Who is supposed to be about.
Yeah,
But
I love that line too.
that is a great line. But alright, Jackson.
Okay, well, the number 3 is obviously it's the first scene with the Dalek and the Doctor in Dalek. Not the you would make a good Dalek, but the first one where he realizes this Dalek is broken and he's just like goading him and yelling at him and starts like electrocuting him, and they have to take the Doctor out because this is who he is scared of, and it's just like, oh God, that is raw. And I love that. I love that episode so much. So the second one is just the moment that Wilf does his 4 knocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and you're just like, oh no. And then that entire scene where he just rails on Wilf, and then he's like, but that's not
I
me.
can do so much.
But this is what I do. This is who I am. And if it had to be anyone, Wilf, I'm so happy it was you. And he's just like, and it's just tragic and really heartbreaking. And you're just like, which I think actually compares to the finale quite a lot, because he tried to do the same thing with the, oh yeah, we're okay, oh we're not, but it was no. It couldn't even compare to that moment with Wilf, which was just one of the like, they shouldn't have confirmed that David Tennant was leaving, because if we didn't know that he was going to leave, then that moment with Wilf would have just been so much. It was so good. Or bad, you know what I mean. Yeah. And the best one, which I right now said yet, is the ending of Bad Wolf, where Rose is on the spaceship and the Doctor and the Daleks are talking to him, and the Doctor's like,
No.
It's like, you will do what we say. We have your associate. And he's just like, no. What is the meaning of this? No. It means no. Because this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to rescue her. I'm going to save Rose Tyler from the middle of the Dalek fleet. And then I'm going to save the Earth. And then, just to finish off, I'm going to wipe every last stinking Dalek out of the sky. And then it's like...
That's a great moment.
It was just like, it's probably the best inspirational speech in a series full of inspirational moments like that. And it was like, yeah, you are. It is on. It was the single best cliffhanger of the entire series.
I do like the scene in Turn Left, where even though it's a Donna moment, where she has like all the gear on, and then she's saying like, I can change the future, and Rose is like, I'm gonna live, right? And then Rose just like stares at her and is like, oh God, am I gonna die? Do I have to die? I like that moment.
Yeah. All right. So let's finish this up by talking about the most recent season of Doctor Who. Which, well, it's only at the halfway point, but we're talking about now because at its mid-season finale, Amy and Rory, the 2 most recent companions, met their end and left the Doctor thanks to the Angels. And the Angels, let's explain the Angels to anybody who doesn't know. The Angels they look like statues, except they're actually an alien race that is incredibly fast. Insanely fast. So fast you can't really there's no way of catching them or stopping them, except that they turn to stone whenever anything looks at them. So basically, if you're looking at an angel and you blink, the angel will be 5 feet closer to you when you open your eyes back up from blinking. And if it touches you, it sends you back in time where you have to live to death. It sends you back in time and you have to live out your life back in whatever time it sends you to.
And it feeds off any energy of what you would have lived.
It feeds off the life that you would have had if you had stayed there. So basically, the Doctor... So... That's why we're talking about this one. in which Amy and Rory met their match at the Angels. But what do you guys think about the rest of the season so far leading up to it?
I thought Asylum of the Daleks was very weak. It suffered hugely from the bringing back all the Daleks all the time. They didn't feel... It was like, what's special about these Daleks? He killed them just as easily. And then it was like he went into the special chamber full of the named Daleks who were the worst. And they weren't even scarier. They were all just standard Daleks.
Yeah.
And then the way it was sold... I didn't like whatever her name was, Oswin, because she was a woman written by Stephen Moffat in that very stereotypical way. And it was just getting on my nerves.
It was a very good twist that she was in the episode. I was like, whoa, wait, she's in the episode? I was like, what? I thought she was going to be in the Christmas episode. Nope, she's in this one.
It was a good twist, and also the Dalek twist was a good twist in concept, even though it made no sense that 2 seasons ago the Daleks remade themselves so they wouldn't be impure anymore, and then they make a deliberately impure thing because it was better than Daleks, even though they believe
nothing. It's
nothing.
an interesting idea where the Daleks are asking for the Doctor's help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the new girl because she's a sexy, sassy British lady. So what's not to like? Because I'm Canadian, and there's not many of those here.
Yeah. Anyone else? Episode 1?
I didn't think it was too bad, but yeah, once again, the Daleks have just kind of gotten old. But yeah, I did like that twist. What's the episode after that?
Wait, no. What about all that? Remember that entire episode with the bullshit about Amy and Rory splitting up?
Oh, I totally forgot that. Yeah.
That was hinted in at the
the
preludes thing they had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which had one of my favourite lines.
Rory's
Food
not
on the
wrong
loo.
about him loving Amy more, though he says it in a complete jerk way.
Yeah. Even though Rory waited 2,000 years, which isn't... I'm not saying that means that Amy loves her less, but what the evidence is that then Amy tried to make out with the Doctor on her own infinite wedding night.
Yeah.
So...
And Rory got eliminated from existence, Amy forgot him, and then when in the episode the Pandorica opens where he saves Amy from the Cyber Man, and he just takes off his helmet and is like, oh god, it's Amy, and she doesn't know that it's Rory at all. And it's just the look on Rory's face is just complete heartbreak. It's like, what's going on? It's Amy, and she doesn't know me. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. What was the second season? What was the second episode?
Dinosaurs on a spaceship.
Dinosaurs in space.
Much like Let's Kill Hitler, it was a title that far outweighed the episode's quality.
It was a fun idea and didn't really do much with them. But I did like the squabbling robots.
I didn't.
What? Really?
Yeah, I just thought they were too childish.
Yeah.
They reminded me of the droids in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
But that episode did give us Brian, so.
Brian is excellent.
Yeah, and I feel like it was a cheeky, fun episode, and I did like the reference that Amy said is when he gets the hunter and Nefertiti, and she asks is this the new us? I like that line. It was clever.
Yeah.
But the thing that ruined the episode for me at the end
was the way. There you go.
Was the Doctor killing Solomon so mercilessly?
Yeah, what was that?
The Doctor is all about, I have to give him a choice. And it was his actions are completely vile, and it's wait, are you not the Doctor anymore? It's you just... Yeah, I just felt
that's
so
one
out
of
of
the reasons I
character.
really want to see the Dream Lord come back. It's because Matt Smith kind of became a little bit evil this season.
Yeah.
But they did that. Obviously, I'm probably going to go on to the next episode, kind of now. But they did the same thing of the Doctor killing someone, kind of, in the next episode. But in the next episode, they earned it. They were like, no, the Doctor can go this far, and this is what happens when he does go this far. Rather than in the Dinosaurs on the Spaceship, where he just randomly went that far and no one called him on it.
Yeah.
Third episode was the cowboy one, right?
Yeah, the cowboy one.
The gunslinger.
Yeah.
Yeah, once again, that one, they did earn it because he gives that whole speech about how many more people am I going to let do this, so...
I didn't like the Western episode just because I felt like they've done that before. They've done the whole, Doctor, I've killed so many different people before. and when is it gonna like come back at me?
I
guilt.
thought the reason when you're watching the episode, the reason he actually went to try and drag that guy out wasn't that he killed people or would keep killing again. It was because he challenged the Doctor's ego and was like, "You wouldn't do this to me," and the Doctor was like, "Oh, you think? Fuck you! I will do this right now. We're going to take you outside right now. Let's do this." I like that they're kind of deconstructing the Doctor's ego in a way. I mean, it wasn't that well handled, and it needed more time to be believable because it all happened in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was a good concept.
There's just something about that episode that's been bugging me ever since I've seen it. It's just, are we going to, is it...
Yeah, you can spoil it.
Okay, fine.
We're gonna spoil the season finale. Yeah, you can spoil the season episode 3.
Alright, we're gonna spoil the fuck out of this.
Yeah.
So in the end, when the spaceship blows up, how is it that the town still has electricity? Because that was where its energy source came from, and it's after that they cut to the scene and you see the lamppost, and there's still
It's
light.
flickering.
Yes, and they're still humming, and electricity is how the fuck are they getting electricity when their source, the spaceship, just blew up? And I just, I'm sorry.
Well, actually, there's a point on that, and there's an article on a website where they have realised that in every single episode there has been a close-up of a flickering light.
We understand that, but yeah, why was it happening?
Because
it was all leading up to the angels, obviously, because if the light flickers, then they get closer.
Yes, but they.
But why was it?
No, as in that there's probably a deeper theme for the actual finale in 14 episodes' time or whatever. That might be explained. It probably won't, but it might be.
Oh, I see. So that might not have been the lead up to the mid-season finale. They might explain it. It might be leading up to the final.
Yeah.
I thought it was supposed to be hinting at the angels because, if a light bulb flickers and it gets dark for a second and they get closer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
Right.
Okay,
That
so yeah.
horse just wants to be called Susan and respect its life choices.
Can I just say, I love whenever Matt Smith talks to something that can't talk. When he talks to the horse, when he talks to the baby, I love it. So,
Yeah.
Well, he's a Time Lord. He has to go to all these different planets in time. So I think it'd be obvious that he has to learn several languages as well.
The TARDIS teaches
the
it.
TARDIS,
Yeah,
right.
anytime the moment that you step into a TARDIS, you can understand any language. So, but yeah, okay. So the next one after that was what was it? Oh, that was the Power of 3.
Yeah, Power 3. That's pretty good. I like that one.
That was pretty good, and I I saw your Twitter war going on about how stupid the villain at the end was.
It was stupid.
If the villain is a one-time thing, yeah, it's stupid, but I like to think that they're trying to set something up. Granted, Moffat has said he doesn't like themes, so I don't know if they are. But if that was the seeds of things to come, then I think it was done pretty well.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, exactly. If it's a one-time thing, then yeah, it was stupid. But yeah, if it was the seeds of things to come, then I look forward to it. But yes, alright. Episode 5, the one where Amy and Roy leave, where angels in Manhattan, angels
take Manhattan.
Which kind of say that is the worst fucking city for the angels to come to outside of I don't know, Hong Kong, because I think this is the most populated city outside of that.
I'm sorry, but every time I hear the title "Angels Take Manhattan," I think Muppets Take Manhattan.
Yet somehow, in this most populated city ever, the Statue of Liberty can still...
What the fuck was that?
Yeah, sure.
Don't get
It's
me wrong,
clever,
if they had
it's
a
completely
giant...
contrived.
If that was something, once again, that's kind of how Moffat's thinking is, oh, this looks cool, but he doesn't stop to think it makes no fucking sense. Because, if they had done a thing where it's okay, there's a giant angel and the Doctor can't dispose of it, he has to put it somewhere where it won't do any harm. Oh, I know. I'll put it right in front of the most populated city so there will at all times be someone looking at. That would make sense to me. Because, yeah, I guarantee you, there is no time at all, ever, that someone in the city is not looking in the direction of the Statue of Liberty.
Agreed.
Yeah, exactly. It makes no sense. But yeah, and also, yeah, the angels, they can't, there's always someone out walking around in New York. And no matter what hour it is. I mean, granted, it was the 1930s, so it was a little less popular, so I guess that makes sense. But still, yeah, it's
Couldn't they have picked like someplace less busy?
Yeah, exactly. The Angels take
Like
Hoboken
Coventry.
or something. I don't know.
The Angels take Swindon.
Yes, exactly. The Angels take Raleigh, North Carolina.
The Angels take some backwoods swamp in southern Missouri.
The Angels take Treasure Planet.
But yes, so I was willing to let that on my mind.
Rough
By the
that
way,
out.
I don't know the actor who played the rich guy who hired River, but God, I love that guy. He needs more work. He played this therapist in Office Space. I always am happy to see that guy get work.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, got it. Oh, it's bugging me.
Yeah, he also played the Hand in Vampire Hunter D. He played lots of stuff. He played Little John in Robin Hood. But yeah, I love that guy. He needs so much more work.
But why
yeah.
is he so obsessed with the Angels?
It's greed.
Because he made them.
Wait, what?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Moffat.
Oh, no. Yeah, the fat guy.
The fat guy.
Yeah, no, it's because he was a collector.
Oh.
Because greed. That's why.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Greed.
Power, greed.
As we all know, greed is bad.
Yeah.
Greed, power,
You'll see him on the
power.
next episode of Hoarders.
Of course. I can't
Hoarders
get
from
rid of.
hell.
I've got $5 and 3 angels and 2 Cybermen. I can't get rid of them. I can't.
And Hoarders is canceled because the hosts went missing.
In
That's
related
become
news,
true.
they just discovered an old magazine from the 1940s about people who hoarded things in their townhouses. But yeah. So I was able to let that stuff go. But what got me was that Amy and Rory. I love that Rory actually when they say, "So you think you'll just come back from death?"
Duh.
When have I not? It's happened like 5 times already. So I like that they did that, and yeah, I like the.
I just read that what better? I just looked on the TV show's page about it. It said, "What better way to send Rory off than to kill him 3 times in an episode?"
That's true.
Is that even the most they've killed Rory in an episode?
In
Yes,
one
I think
episode,
so.
I think yes.
I think it was
Okay.
2 in... No. Was
It
it
was
2
2 in
in
the
The
Panopticon,
Doctor's
I
Wife?
think. Oh, in the Doctor's
He died. Oh no, he died. He died a couple times in that. He died in the Big. Well, everyone died in the Big Bang because
Yeah.
they restarted the whole universe.
Yeah.
I think they did too much bringing people to... When you kill them, bring people back to life, surprisingly, when you actually try to kill them off, it doesn't have the same impact.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when they've died 9 times already.
Then also he didn't. At the end, they don't really die because they kill Rory so that it creates a paradox and gets rid of the angels. Which first off, but then they come back. They come to the graveyard and there's an angel there waiting for them who zaps Rory back. Which here's my question: if he created a paradox that got rid of the angels, why is there still an angel in Manhattan?
Just because-
What?
Because of plot.
The reason was it's a survivor. That was like, well, I don't know. It wasn't. You didn't use a gun. You did use a kind of binary yes or no solution. So that's a bit stupid. Also, they rewrote the rules of how time travel works about 6 times just in that one episode. We're here because before it was like time can be rewritten, but now it's like no, it can't. Not if you've already read it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I was like, what the fuck are you going on about? You can't make up that bullshit every single week
And also,
at your
here's the
whim.
thing, that's a book that they're reading. Why on earth, if they read it, couldn't they just change it and then go, oh, by the way, River, when you go back, you have to write these exact words?
And it's someone different writing at the very beginning of the episode.
I figured this out. Because they're idiots.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, the Doctor can't go back and save them because he can never return to 1930s New York again, or else it will basically destroy everything. Here's my question. Why can't he just return to 1930s New Jersey and get a round-trip bus ticket and go pick them up and bring them back to the TARDIS in Jersey?
And why can River talk to her and get the book published?
I
but
know,
he
and how
can't
much
talk
of
to
a
her-
dick is River,
Yeah.
who she can't go back with 2 extra of those little hand bracelets and teach her parents how to use them to get out of the jam? Or
when Rose went to the parallel universe the first time before they kind of cut that up, you knew that was final because they were like, "No, you cannot do this." But just she was like, "Yes, you can. You can totally do this. You can do this as much as you like." They
Yeah,
have
and it's humans who figure it out. Like, come on.
exactly.
Because they're just that smart.
It all started with the scene, obviously, with the wrist thing, because the Doctor is a person that will do whatever he has to do to save his friends. That is the defining characteristic of the Doctor, even if it's a paradox, even if it seems impossible, he will do it because that's what he is. And all the time he was giving up saying, well, I can't do it because that's not how it's meant to go. And it's just...
I know, I just kept thinking back to, like, David Tennant, like, this is the guy who, you know, Donna Noble looked like she was dead there in the library. He saved him. I can't picture David Tennant, the David Tennant Doctor, basically kind of going, oh, damn, I can't figure a way out around this one.
But it doesn't matter, because even though they say they can't come back, they're gonna come back.
Yeah, I highly doubt they will not come back.
Because it's 50th anniversary next year, so why wouldn't they come back?
I highly doubt that they won't be able to come back. Also,
it also sounds like Rose might come back next year.
What?
Also, if he can't go back to 1930s, period, at all, zero, that's it. Why can't he just go back to 1920s and wait around for them, or go back to 1940s and pick them up a couple of years after they get there?
Oh, because that would make a very interesting episode.
This episode has more pointless questions than Prometheus, and that's fucking impressive.
These could take sort of the way I'm just like listening to you, like, I'm not hearing that. These are just like obvious questions that nobody ever thinks to try and do because, like, you know when you watch something and you think no person would ever do such a thing like that, or why don't they just do it? This is one of those things that just destroys my immersion in anything. When people just act like idiots and don't think of anything. I'm getting flashbacks here to when Ares dies in Final Fantasy VII and nobody just thinks, well, why not just use the Phoenix Down?
Because it happened in a cutscene and you can't get to your menu.
Yes.
Or why Jack and Rose couldn't just both fit on the little bit of wreckage at the end of the awful mess known as Titanic. Science has proved that they could.
Well, it's because she didn't actually love him, and she was kind of looking for an out.
Yeah.
That was it.
It's just a flame.
There's so many ways that he could have saved them, and don't give me that, oh, well, he read their names on the gravestone, so therefore it has to happen. Just go back in time, give a ton of cash to two people, and go, change your names to this, by the way, and make sure you're buried here. Or, go into the future after Amy and Rory have died of old age, being a very happy couple, and then just go, okay, this is going to sound weird, but in order for time to still exist, I have to make sure they're buried in the 19-somethings in New York.
Yeah, and just loads of things like that. And just also, they spent the entire Power of 3 episode building up the home life, and the Doctor didn't once think to go, I'm going to go talk to Brian now and explain how he's never going to see his child again.
I know, what a puss!
It's like, no, Brian, you need a payoff for that. You need a payoff for that life. You cannot build that life up and then when they leave it, just go whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Brian is still just sitting there waiting for them to come back.
And it will never happen.
And then when he gets the news that they're dead...
Oh, come on, you really think we're actually going to do that?
Exactly. Also,
Moffat did say he rewrote the entire episode, so I'm, like, to give him a different ending, so I want to know what that original one was.
I think in the original they had to have totally died, and I think that at the end he just went, no, I've got to give him some kind of a happy ending.
No, I think the phrasing was he said that he rewrote the ending whilst he was writing it because the focus was wrong. That was the actual quote. So
I'm going to put it this way. If this is the ending he came up with, I absolutely am terrified of what the original one would have been.
It was probably more Rory, because Rory got no send-off at all.
No, Rory just, oh hey, this is a weird name on this gravestone.
Yeah, the shock death.
If Rory didn't look at that gravestone, you think
Rory.
he'd still be alive? You think they'd still both be, just fine and dandy, just traveling along with the Doctor still, or just?
Actually, come to think of it, how come Rory you saw Rory's name on the gravestone before he got taken back, but you only saw Amy's name on the gravestone after she got taken back?
What the fuck is up with that? I didn't even think about that.
All these millions...
This just keeps coming apart at the seams.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how little sense it makes.
There's 900 strands of thread here that just keep pulling, and this episode just keeps falling apart.
It's like the entire universe is falling apart the more we question
We're creating a paradox.
We are creating a paradox.
But yeah, and once again, going back to the send-offs that the other Doctors got, Donna got, I'm not, starting with Rose.
Donna got the most heartbreaking one ever.
Yeah, Donna, and also they were like, that was a 3-part back-to-back, I want to say, in which it was all about the Daleks leading up to that, them taking the universe, and it was like all these episodes leading up to that. This one, literally, it's just, it just starts off with them just chilling, just hanging out.
No, and it even has a 7-minute pre-title sequence with someone else. This is the big finale, and you spend the first over a fucking tenth of it. I don't know how long it works out, but the first good chunk of this episode isn't devoted to the characters you're going to be saying goodbye to.
It sounds like it was just something that if it wasn't like made out in massive, as a massive press thing, and that they would have meant to have been treated as like a shock death or something. Whereas of course here instead it's just thanks to the build-up it kind of just happens.
No, because it's not, because they have the whole thing of I don't like endings, and also he reads in the book the final farewell of Amelia before they go. It's not like they get saved and they suddenly go.
So instead it's basically just lazy writing then? Or
yes it is.
If you're going to make an episode where somebody ends, at least make it the entire thing as if they're going to end. Commit, basically.
Yep.
Or it's just really confused writing, and we're not thinking about it correctly, but that's more of an issue of Moffat.
Yeah, and like we've said, Moffat is a guy with big ideas who just needs somebody to buffer him.
Yeah, but not themes. Never themes.
No, he doesn't really. I don't even know. I don't know, you people.
I kind of want to know how Sherlock's managing to stay like relatively, sane and straightforward.
Because there's 3 episodes a season.
Yeah. I would disagree. I thought season 2.
Because they're working off Sherlock Holmes. They're working off.
I thought season 2 was a big drop in quality for Sherlock. That was my opinion.
I think it was improved just because, well, it's the same pattern where first episode's great, second episode's bad, third episode's great.
Yeah, it's first episode's great, first episode's good to great, second episode's bad, and then the third one's amazing.
I thought that, but then again, I really didn't like the first episode of season 2 because I think they destroyed Irene Adler, and I was like, what the fuck have you done? And I thought that the Great Game was a good episode of a load of cases flying at you, and then the Reichenbach Fall was just nonsense. Like, again, you could pick holes in it from a mile away.
How could they screw up Hound of the Baskervilles?
Easy.
Well, they managed it.
Yeah.
I know, it was awful. Holy crap.
Well, anybody else have any final thoughts on Doctor Who before we go?
I remember Doctor Who when it was good.
I think if there's one thing that's
You're
remained
a hipster now.
I am.
I think that if there's one thing that's remained consistently good throughout Davies era and Moffat era is the music. I think the music is astounding.
I
Murray
think
Gold is a
the
great
music
composer.
better under Moffat. I mean, he's now got that new, there's I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It doesn't sound like a synthesizer anymore.
I thought the theme tune got worse for Series 5 because it was Series 4 had that rocking awesome one, and the Series 5 went to the techno one that wasn't as good.
I don't like the opening credits.
For the
like
12th
how they're
Doctor
constantly
going
changing in
into
this season.
It'll be that big thing pre-title. Pre-title build-up, and then Doctor Who.
Dubstep is the best music for time travel because it makes it sound like you're slowing up and slowing down and speeding up constantly as you listen to it.
It is.
Has anybody heard music dubstep song just quickly?
It's really terrible.
It's terrible, but it's hilarious. Like how they have this build-up of orchestral music on step, and just suddenly this computer goes unsustainable, and then they do it again. I mean, I don't particularly like dubstep, but I mean, I don't even get the appeal of it.
Have you, any of you, this is just a general question for the world, have any of you seen this new clip called, it's an official clip from the people who make it, called Dubstep Power Rangers?
No.
I haven't.
No,
seen that.
I haven't.
Okay, well, let's wrap this up, and then I'll send you a link to Dubstep Power Rangers and hear your
let's
reactions.
wrap this up. We're going to see Frankenweenie tonight, so we gotta get going. But, alright, guys. This was a pleasure. We'll talk more about Doctor Who in the future, but for now, I am Aaron.
I'm Michelle. And who are you guys?
Treasure Planet!
I'm at Callum Petch on Twitter.
Nicely done.
Okay, I'm at TilyA002. Find one of us.
I'm at the Obscure Fan because someone already took Obscure Fan, and whoever you
Bastards.
are, I will fight you for that.
They don't even use it.
I am at Miss Scribbles. That's MISS_SKRIBBLEZ.
And you don't follow me on Twitter.
I follow you on Twitter.
I hardly ever go on Twitter. That's why I don't really like telling people my Twitter account. It's like I just go on there. It's like I'm eating a cookie, and then the next week,
That cookie was good. Big ass cookies.
I'm going to do dramatic readings from your Twitter account now.
Any week that you're not on, that will be something Jackson does. Just read through it.
Yeah.
I wish hashtag Twitter had a hashtag edit option, hashtag typos.
That's what I love about your Twitter is that you hashtag the shit out of everything.
Isn't that the whole point of Twitter? Am I not using Twitter correctly? Do I need a manual like Twitter for Dummies or something, or just?
I found your best
really
tweet.
hate having the hashtags at the end of the sentence. Like, oh, what a nice day. Hashtag happy, hashtag smile, hashtag blah blah blah, hashtag blah blah blah, hashtag hashtag.
Oh wait, hold on.
Your best one is clearly this one. It's hashtag doggies and hashtag Dark Knight Rises. That's the entire tweet. Pretty good.
That's pretty good.
We managed so close. We were so close to staying on topic for most of the whole podcast.
We were. So let's cut it now before it gets
But
any
we're
worse.
at the end, so we're able to.
Shout
So we
out to
can
John
go
Whoosh.
off track.
Alright.
So Treasure
Kevin.
Planet.
That's never not getting old.
Alright, everybody. My cheeks hurt. Alright. Night, everybody.